And we're live for another Friday night pint. Potential new owners being shown around the training ground. Is it all smoke and mirrors to try and calm down the protests, or could we finally be getting a new owner or an investor? Also, it looks like Nuno Espirito Santo is the favourite to take over at West Ham. Should Potter get sacked? They're talking about him getting sacked as well as Cole McCauley if it comes to it. So we're going to be getting into all of that and all the other manager merry-go-round and shenanigans that's going on. But Scott, good to see you, mate. Cheers.
And you, mate.
Cheers, everyone in the chat. Cheers.
Actually, both got pints today, mate. Both got pints.
You ain't got a West Ham Fan TV pint glass, Scott, no?
No, unfortunately, mine broke, mate.
Why does everyone break their bloody pint glasses?
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. It wasn't me that broke it.
I've not broke a single pint glass.
Yeah, funny enough, nor have I. Someone else has in my household, but not me.
Well, hopefully Nicky's sorting out some new ones.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, mate.
Yeah, that'll be good. So hopefully Nicky will be here soon. He should be here. He said he was going to be here, but in Nicky fashion, he's running late. So yes, we'll get straight into it. So right, it was reported by ex-employee that Karen Brady and Martin Noble were seen showing around a potential buyer. Let me get it up. Potential new buyers, right? Let me read it so I don't get things misconstrued. The Gold family have been looking to sell their shares for a while, and it seems there may have been a potential buyer shown around Rush Green and other West Ham facilities. So he could mean buyer of the shares and not just the whole club. That could be what you're saying here. Now reading it. It is believed Brady and Noble showed a potential buyer around the place today. Not a lot is known about the potential buyers other than they appear to be foreign. Whether they will actually make an offer for the shares remains to be seen. We'll keep you updated if and when we hear more. The club also reiterated for the time being Graham Potter's safe in his job. A load of waffle. This is interesting, right? He says we are still part of the media/fans group blackout from the club. So this information has not come to us from our top source, but from trusted people within the club. So it's reported that Sullivan was not talking to West Ham media anymore because he's upset. People are, having pops at him or whatever the hell his ego is telling him. So he's not talking to anyone. So this hasn't come from the top, but someone who's trusting the club that maybe have seen it. What are you thinking on this, Scott? This news? Are you feeling like I've seen split reaction? Like some people are just saying it's completely made up, and it's all to try and quieten the protests. Some are saying that there could be something to it.
The thing is, mate, I think that the Gold family never really were that interested to keep their stake within the football club. I think was it the son-in-law was sitting on the board, obviously after David Gold's passing, and then was it his daughter passed as well, didn't she? And I think it was more that he was the one that was more interested in the West Ham and being part of the board and the collective of that. So it's not new news that the Gold family are looking to sell up. I think it was more of a David Gold's passion to own West Ham. Do you know what I mean? It was more his thing and his thing. So I'm not surprised. I think there is something legitimate in that, in them trying to sell up their shares. It just stinks because of the timing, doesn't it? When you think about it, it's one of those where you sort of it could potentially where you're putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5 just because of the timing. It's why is this being done now? Why is this being leaked out now? That type of thing. All with this protest being, the protest, the starts of the protest. It's just not a one-off protest. This is the start of a sequence of protests that are going to be happening over the next few games. And it's all about timing, isn't it? It's strange timing that this has all come out now. But as I said, I do genuinely believe that they're probably looking to get rid of their interest in the football club. Maybe not all of it, but maybe a vast majority of it. I think what are they reduced to now? Under 20%?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so obviously you know, and you don't know what financial situation they're all in anymore.
Just need to change the title. I've just noticed a grammatical error in the title. It was all rushed. First of all, before I give my thoughts, I want to say, Drano Hammers, I meant to get around to doing this on the phone-in show to say thank you for becoming a member. Did come up, new member, Drano Hammers, yesterday. So apologies, I didn't get to thank you yesterday, Drano, but we appreciate it. And he's saying that the under 21s keeper is looking much for his better. Yeah, anyone look better in goal. I'd look better in goal than him. So yeah, like when I think about it, it's so funny. I get why people would be.
Oh, blimey. Dan, where you gone, mate? Looks like his computer's shut down. So, yeah, leaving me by myself. Nicky's late as usual. But, yeah, as I said, I'll hold the fort until he comes back. Hopefully he comes back soon because I'm very tough at doing these things on my own. But, yeah, look, as I said, it's all about the optics, all about timing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments while Dan takes his time to come back. Here he comes. There you go, mate.
So, I was closing tabs. I had too many tabs open. I was closing them and then closed the wrong one. So right, yeah. As I was saying, right, I get why people are skeptical, right? I get that skepticism of, oh, right, it's all it's a tactic to get people to stop protesting. I will say this: if you are someone that would stop protesting over a rumor of a potential buyer or a manager getting sacked or a big name manager coming in, you're an idiot. I'm sorry to say this in such strong terms, but you're an absolute idiot if you're like, oh wow, like ex-employee reported that they're showing a buyer around the training ground. Come on, lads, let's stop the protest and get behind it. We've won. We've actually won. Like, you're an idiot. Like, that's not the time to stop protesting, and that's ramping it up. Because if there is any truth to it, it's like, wow, we've really got them on the ropes. We're close. Keep pushing. If they took any rumors, news, ignore it until the job is done. You don't stop protesting.
That
So
is
all this,
true, Dan. But, you know, Johnny makes a good point here. People buy season tickets over transfer rumours. And
they're
that is a
idiots.
good point. That is
You're
a
going
good
to
point.
make a big financial decision and a commitment over a rumor. Like, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. You're a bad financial fucking handler. Like, you should not be handing the money in your household if that's how you make your decision of rumors. Like, and that's the thing. People doing that on protests, honestly, they're working against us. And that's the thing. So block it all out.
The thing is, mate, you only stop protesting when you're getting towards the sort of thing that you want. Do you know what I mean? And let's be honest, I think a vast majority of the people protesting, if the Gold family were to sell their shares, that wouldn't stop them protesting because it's not really that family that they want out of the club anymore. Do you know what I mean?
No.
When it was the GSB, obviously, David passed and that, and it's not really that family that this is all aimed against. It's the
Yeah.
owner, the chairman. The
Yeah.
man that holds the majority stakehold in this football club.
They
That
do need to go as well, though, Scott, just in terms of it's not malicious against
no,
them, but they're just not.
no. Exactly. But what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make is that if they were to sell, this wouldn't stop. Do you know what I mean? These protests would still continue because it's the ownership that is
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah. Well, this is it.
When you look at it, right? When you look at the over the last few years, the investment that the team had, it's coincided with Kaczynski coming into the football club.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, and this thing, Sullivan takes all the praise where the praise is all there to be had. Sullivan will take the praise about Moyes, Sullivan will take the praise about winning the trophy and all that. But when you look at what we spent since Kaczynski set foot in the football club, it's been a damn sight more than what we paid out in the years previous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that again, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
That is
No,
just thinking you've
exactly.
had someone with a bit of financial muscle who's got cash money, not
Yeah.
not money in properties, money in businesses. That he's got cash money, and as we know with Sullivan's not cash money.
No.
Sullivan is more. He owns this, he owns that, he owns this. That's where his fortune is. Whereas Katinski's got that little bit of dollar to throw about a bit more than what Sullivan has.
Yeah.
And this is why. This is what I think. It's my opinion that since he's been in the club, I think a lot of the fact that we got where we were and the players that we've got through the door are more because he's been the financial backer.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a big injection of cash that come in with his investment that helped us spend. And without him, we may have been relegated. So, Steve WHU Bell, speaking of injection of cash, of a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Steve.
Cheers, Steve.
Distraction tactics yet again. For fuck's sake. Yeah, we can't allow ourselves to get distracted. Rich, with a £10 super chat. Thank you very much, Rich, as
Cheers,
well.
Rich.
Thank you. Can't be there tomorrow, but 100% support. Put this towards your train fare tomorrow, Dan, and call them crap for me, please. I don't know if you're aware of that, Scott.
What's that, mate?
I was on Sky Sports. I've just thank you, Osa, for the 79p as well. I was on Sky Sports. I put a video up on my other channel talking about West Ham, talking about the statement they put out.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm putting out the statement, I'm really talking to them about how much of an absolute scam, how much we've been had on the stadium, talking about the fact that, when we were moving, they talked about it being a world-class stadium, sight lines comparable to Upton Park, be close to the pitch, Champions League football, all of that stuff that they said to us to get us there, right? And anyway, and I said what they ended up doing was blowing up our home in a crap film. And anyway, the guy was like, as I'm going on, doing all these signals, and he goes, and as I'm finishing, he goes, I'd just like to apologize for the language used there. We don't use that word at this time of day. Later on it may be fine, but no, we don't use that. So we'd like to apologize for any offense caused. And I'm there. You see my face, right? I'm like this. What? Like what the hell? Because I'm like, what did I say? I'm sitting there going, oh, shit, did I swear? Did I? And I get to the end and I come on the producer. He's like, cheers, mate, brilliant. I was like, yeah, mate, what did I say? He goes, oh, you said crap. I was like, crap? He's like, yeah, we can't use that at this time. I know Talk Sport, it might be all right, but we don't use it. I was like, wow.
Yeah. But this is the thing, though, mate. Right? It's mad how when you look at it, right, looking at the ground, you think when we used to walk.
I thought Matt Rainey was talking about me for a second. He's talking about a guy on Sky. I was reading it. I was like, what have I done to upset Matt Rainey? Because I'm on the left. Well, to me, I'm on the left. Unless he's talking about you, Scott, because you are the bloke on the left.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, I am, mate.
But he's obviously talking about the guy on Sky, yeah. It took me a while. I was just looking at it, oh my God, like Matt Rainey's on one against me for some, right? Jim White's son. Is he? Mate. Jim White's son?
Bloody hell.
I didn't know that. But yeah, you can go and see it. Yeah, Sherwood was loving it. You can go see it on Lawless Live. It was funny. But I just didn't know. I'm sitting there thinking, like, I want to say shit. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the thing is, the final score. Apparently, it was a Sky film as well. Like
it was an awful film.
Yeah,
absolutely awful film. I watched about 10 minutes of it and turned it off.
I've gone on Sky and called their film crap, and I forgot it was a Sky film. So yeah, but yeah, no, I think you're I think you're right in a lot of what you're saying, Scott. I think look, with investment, right? Cool, we can spend more money. It doesn't change a thing. It was called final score, as someone else pointed out. It don't change a thing if, like, we get another Kretinsky who just owns the gold shares. Obviously, Kretinsky doesn't seem to have any interest in taking a majority shareholding, because if he could just buy the gold shares, he would be the majority shareholder. He seems to not have an interest at all then, because I don't know why he wouldn't just do that. And they're trying to get more investment, and it's the same crap.
Can't say that word, Dan. You can't say it.
Sorry, apologies. anyone offended by my language there, I'm really sorry about that. Listen, I'm used to having Nikki say the C word, the proper
Oh,
C
mate,
word,
this is what I'm
every
saying.
5 seconds
You
on
saying
here.
that C word's 10 times better than the other C word.
Yeah, we had one of the people that come on and the other day was like, "Oh, really? Sorry, I know I swore a lot." I said, "You joking?" Like I said, Nikki, bloody every 5 seconds he's swearing, mate. That's nothing. Yeah, so yeah, like that. It don't change anything because it's just going to still be Sullivan at the top of the fucking table, right, making the decisions, in charge, and we're going to be in the same situation, but we're going to spend some money in the transfer window.
Yeah.
Spending isn't the issue.
No, but
It's
also,
yeah,
Dan, we're not spending his money.
yeah,
And this is the thing. Another investor coming in and taking over the gold shares and pumping money into the club. It's not putting money into his pot. It's putting money into the club that he then can go and spend. And he ain't got a problem spending everyone else's money. He don't want to spend his own money. As far as he's concerned, he spent his own money. He's happy to sit there and reap the interest payments and the loans that he made the club, and the backhanding that he had going on, allegedly had, I should say, going on with the sale of Upton Park and how it changed hands more than once, and that type of thing. But when it's somebody else's money, he ain't got a problem spending it. As soon as it comes down to the fact that he's got to spend a bit of money, then
yeah,
we start. Oh, we've got no money to spend.
yeah.
We've got to be careful because of PSR. And it's just he always seems to find an excuse not to put his hand in his pocket. Do you
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
But the thing is, Scott, whether he's spending his money or someone else's money, he's going to spend it poorly. That's
Oh,
the
of course,
issue,
of course.
So
Mate,
yeah,
it was laughable in that statement that the club put out, saying out, we're looking at the way to in player recruitment, and we've brought in Macaulay to handle all that. And then when it's exactly Sullivan that's getting the players through the door.
yeah.
It's no coincidence that we almost got landed with a South American goalkeeper, because we know how much Sullivan likes to bring in a little South American player here and there to make himself look good for playing Football Manager all
Yeah.
year round, or one of his sons do it. Do you know what I mean? It's still the same. It's rinse and repeat every season with him.
What was you saying about Upton Park, Scott? I'll just get
Oh no, I
to
was just saying it goes to show how bad we do not like the London Stadium, because you used to think the walk to Upton Park, I would walk from my mum and dad's house and happily walk along, talking to me mate as we walk to football, and you see the floodlights for the night game and that type of thing. No problem. I used to walk further then than I do now from Stratford
yeah.
Station.
I walked from
But
Barking.
yeah, but do you know what I mean? But it felt like a game then, didn't it? It felt like a match day. It felt
It's exciting because you had all the proper pubs on the side. You could hop in the Denmark, up in the
yeah.
Central, up in M&M bar, and you'd bar hop on your way up. You'd see everyone up. You know what I mean? Grab a bit of bite to eat. You know what I mean? It was proper.
I'd love to meet someone who actually enjoys that walk to the London Stadium. I'd
Oh,
love to
listen,
meet
I
someone
would.
who honestly thinks when they're walking towards that, like even for a night game, when they're walking towards that London Stadium, they actually feel
Yeah,
the atmosphere, feel the vibe. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Of
I
a match
don't
day.
feel it.
I've
I
never.
want to say,
Go
yeah.
on.
Go on.
No, I've never felt it. I've never ever
No,
felt that.
I haven't either, mate.
Yeah.
I know I was going to say to Nick actually, if you're still in the chat, Nick, if you're still watching, if you want to come on, the Nick, the other Nicky has no showed. He said he might, but he said he'd let me know. He didn't let me know that he wasn't coming on, but it's fine. But if you want to come on, mate, let me know. I'll send you a link. You can join us. But yeah, no, appreciate it. And I meant to get back to and reply to your comment on my video as well, but you get so many, I've got to go through them all and try and reply to everyone. But I appreciate it, mate. Speaking of Nick Brown with a £10 super chat. Thank you very much, Nick.
Cheers, Nick.
Great content as ever, lads. Lots saying Nuno is done and dusted. Potter will be gone and will be announced after the game tomorrow, Sunday, regardless of the result. We're going to get into Nuno in a bit. We're going to just get some more comments give some more comments about the potential takeover. Denmark is gone. No way.
Yeah,
It
Denmark's
weren't
all
that long
closed up,
ago
mate.
because it got done. It got done up. It was started to turn into a little bit more of a hipster bar. They got rid of the carpet, and I was in there. I think I was in there like a year ago or so.
It probably shut down not long after you left, mate. It's been closed down for a
Oh,
while.
I had a plan for a video and everything. Be 5 minutes. All right, Nick. I'll tell you what. I'll send you the link on the Twitters, and then jump on when you're ready, mate. And we'll freeze third's a charm. Would they? I know say freeze company, but yeah, we want some company. That's really sad. Like me and Jace used to drink in the Denmark every Thursday, karaoke night.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dad used to drink in there, like when he was, in
Mate,
his early 20s. Like,
so many of the pubs have gone there around that way.
that's
So many.
so sad, man. Really heartbreaking to hear. So yeah, like, but in terms of takeover, look, people say we won't sell, we won't sell, we won't sell, and this is what I said. Right, we gotta keep pushing. I don't think Nick's not on Twitter anymore, is he? Or is he?
No, that's what you just said.
Oh fuck. Well, how do I send him this link then? What is he on? I was typing it in and I was like, I remembered, like, oh yeah, he's not on Twitter anymore. I was just about to fire it over to him. Yeah, because you can't. I don't know if you can send like DMs on YouTube channels.
Don't know
You used to be able to send messages, didn't you? You could message other YouTube channels.
Can't do that now. But no, it's a shame, mate. It's a shame. A lot of the pubs have gone there. You know, once West Ham moved out, I think it was the nail in the coffin for a lot of the pubs around that sort of way. You know, even with the bowling, the bowling had to change what it does. And now it's more of a sort of restaurant pub than a pub.
Yeah,
It killed a lot of that. Yeah, it's just one of. But then again, you could say it's made a lot of places in Stratford now. So it's took away on one hand, but given on the other, moving there. But as I said, it's just not. It's not the same, is it? I mean, it's never gonna. I'll be honest, mate. I don't think it'll ever be the same now. To be fair.
yeah.
It was interesting watching the video you done the other day, talking about it, and with the survey that got put out, and how many people are very the same as me and you. The match day experience. The whole concept of it, not only the stadium, but the entire experience of the game. The build up to it, the walk into it, the actual match day itself, the state of the stadium. I think you see it the other day, the video Nicky posted where the water's pissing through the roof on the concourse.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that the company that are now running the stadium don't really care. Don't really care the state of it, because you shouldn't be having a world-class stadium with a leaky roof.
Yeah, there's nothing world-class about it. At all. Nothing world-class about it. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to... Let me see if Claret and Booze is on Facebook. Claret and Blues.
He just said send it to Ryan.
Ryan's out though, isn't he?
Yeah, he might pick up his WhatsApp
though. Let me message him. Yeah, so the thing is with the stadium, mate. This is the thing. The whole thing with the stadium is the main reason that I'm protesting for, right? It's not about spend. Well, its owners out, but it all comes down to what they did with the state to destroy Upton Park to move us to a rented Athletics Bowl. And I watched like their first, because a lot of people going, no, like they originally wanted to buy it, and it was only because Spurs and Forest come in. That was the story. I watched their first press conference, right? Mm-hmm. And they said on their first press conference, they said we want the stadium, the Olympic Stadium. And someone said to him, like, oh right, you're trying to buy it? He's like, we'd like to rent it actually. Like they came in with that plan. It was all part of the plan.
But the crazy thing is, mate, is it weren't just them who wanted that stadium. You got to think the old Icelandics who went kaput as soon as they practically took us over. They wanted the stadium as well. It wasn't. This was the thing. It was everyone was involved with West Ham was trying to get us at that stadium. The annoying thing for me now is that moving. If we did have to leave Upton Park to a bigger stadium, and because we wouldn't have been able to, as much as now you've got the flats there, which does make it a bit of a mockery of the fact that we couldn't extend and the fact that one of the reasons we couldn't extend was a bloody bus garage, and then
It's
the bus
gone.
garage showed up and turned it into flats. You know,
Yeah.
it's the crazy thing. But you know, we were meant to go over to West Ham, you know, where the old bus garage, the old post office place was there, which would have been
Yep.
perfectly ideal to have a purpose-built football stadium done. You know, one that was still within a West Ham community, probably more in the West Ham community than we were, because obviously Upton Park was more East Ham than West Ham,
Yeah.
and you know that all got kiboshed to just go to this soulless place that we've got.
Yeah. 100%. 100%, mate. Nick, if you're still watching, send us a message on Facebook, West Ham Fan TV. I'll get you there because I've messaged Ryan. He might not see it. So message us on Facebook, West Ham Fan TV on Facebook. And everyone else can follow us there. So then we can start streaming on there and it will be lovely jubbly.
Julie Toon says there, you know, they don't own St James's Park. It's owned by the council.
Really? That's interesting. I didn't realise that. But the thing is, at least it's your home. It feels like your home. You go in there, that's Newcastle's. Everything feels and looks Newcastle. No one questions anything about it. You get priority on your fixtures. They don't have like you're having to not play it until September because of the Athletics World Championships. You know, like that's the problem for me. And that what they've done is unforgivable. And that's when I was doing a video. I walked around the other day and it just taking it in. I'm like, wow, like what we've lost and what they've given us in return, mate, it's so bad. It's so bad what they've done. And I was talking about, you know, our seats, Scott, where you stand with the stupid joins and the the electrical tape or whatever that is on it. World class.
That's right. Do you know they've still not repaired that? It's still exactly the same, mate.
So I mean, it's just cheap, crap, temporary scaffolding.
Yep.
That's the problem. It's just tin pot. Everything about it seems tin, but it's just it's the thing that is it don't feel like West Ham. Like for me, I want a ground of the similar type of setup and layout to Upton Park. You know what I mean? The closeness, just bigger. Like that's all we need. Like just a bit bigger and the closeness. And this is the thing when they said, and this is another thing I was talking about on Sky, like we need to move. Remember, we need to move to this stadium to compete with the Arsenals and the Chelseas. We need to move. We need to move to get Champions League football. We need to move. We did not need to move, right? Because in that statement, they talked about us getting 2 years in Europa League and we won a Conference League. We did not need to leave Upton Park to achieve that. We did not. Because Palace
we
stayed
achieved,
at Sellers.
we achieved Europa League qualification. Well, Europa League football while still being at Upton Park.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we stayed. Selhurst, you know, Palace didn't leave Selhurst. They won an FA Cup. Newcastle at St James's Park won a Carabao Cup, Champions League football, right? Aston Villa stayed at Villa Park, regular European football, right? So all of these clubs that have achieved the same or more than West Ham didn't have to go and blow up their homes and move to a crappy athletic stadium. So all this talk of, oh well, you know, we have to move for this, and then sitting there going, well, look, we've done we achieved it. No, you didn't achieve jack shit of what you said we needed to move for, and we didn't need to move to do anything. I think we would have been more successful had we stayed at Upton Park.
Yeah, and what you're saying there is quite point with this comment here. You know, has anyone noticed where Brighton, Brentford, and Bournemouth were when GSB took us over, and they were small clubs? And you look at that now. Brighton have played European football. Brentford have been on the verge of doing it, and Bournemouth, you know, missed out last season. And it just goes to show that having all three of them clubs now have sort of put themselves within the Premier League. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I know Bournemouth were up and down a little, but they've come in, they've stabilised, you know, and all three of them clubs at some point since they've been in the Premier League have been pushing for the top six. And it just goes to show how ownership and having a structure can push you in the right direction. It isn't you've got to go and buy the best players. Look, if you had an endless pot of money like Man City do, you can go and get managers that are good at managing the top players. You can go and buy all the top players. But when you haven't got that, You need to get the structure right. And I think Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford, as 3 clubs, not so much Brentford this season because they're having a bit of struggle up since they've lost their manager, but their case in point to, and like you're saying with Palace, having the right direction and the right mindset at the top level, and having a plan in place of how you want the club to grow, how you want the club to proceed, and always being forward thinking, pushes you in the right direction. You know, and that's the problem. We very much don't. We've never looked forward, right? I said this the other day. When you sit and watch us kick off with Potter now, we kick off exactly the same way, or very similar to the way we kicked off under Sam Allardyce.
Yeah.
You know, and we've got now a manager that wants to play football. Apparently, you know, I'd like to see what type of football he actually wants us to try and play, because we're still playing the same shit I saw under David Moyes and Sam Allardyce. And everyone, the only person I've seen actually try and make it a bit different was Bilic.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the thing, and this is why I keep thinking that we always blame the manager. We always sit there and think, but why do we keep playing the same way? Why do we keep playing hoofball from the kickoff? Lay it back to the centre half, hit it long to the biggest player we got on the pitch. It was Andy Carroll. It was Thomas Souček. You know, the same kickoff, the same thing every time. Something that's never worked or has worked once in about 10 years of us playing it, but we still do it. Why is that? Because you don't see these other clubs sticking to the same things and they don't work, but they still do it. You know, the only person I think of doing the same thing over and over again was Roy Hodgson when he managed England. And look where that got him. You know, and this is the problem. It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We need to start seeing something different on the pitch and off the pitch, but we need it to start off the pitch to be able to go on the pitch.
Yeah. No, that's it. Listen, need wholesale changes. And I think Kukiyama brings up a good point. It shows it's all on the board. Asset stripping. Now, this asset stripping thing gets mentioned a lot. A lot of people have fighted against it. But you think about the biggest example of asset stripping is selling the Upton Park for 40 million and moving to a rented ground, right? Because they've pocketed 40 million pounds. And remember, when we moved to the London Stadium, when they bought us, we had 100 million of debt. That's what they said when they took us over. The first press conference, we still have 100 million of debt. Years later, since we moved to the stadium, we still have 100 million of debt, right? That's what we were told, despite him selling our home for 40 million pounds. So the asset stripping makes sense. And from everything that we've been led to believe, they are taking, and he's getting interest on the loans that he's given to us, because he didn't. When he says we have 100 million of debt, he don't have 100 million of debt. He bought our debt, and we owe him money. So there's no we have the debt. West Ham have the debt to Sullivan and the Gold family, if that's still the same thing. So the asset stripping thing, there's a lot to that. There's so much going on behind the scenes, mate. That's just dodgy as right.
But that's the thing, Dan. You know, we've been doing this channel for 11 years now, and it's been
This sets it in. When he says Upton Park's off for 30 million, Kilman bought for 40 million. Kilman cost more than Upton Park.
But that's the crazy thing is now, like, how did Upton Park just be sold for 38 million?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's as much as East London and Upton Park is a big shithole. It's the land there's still worth more than that. Do you know what I mean?
It's in London. It don't like today's shithole is tomorrow's fucking upmarket, swanky, gentrified hipster town. Look at Shoreditch.
Mate, listen, I case in point. I work in one of the biggest shitholes around, so I know about that.
That's what I mean. Just because it's a shithole, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still prime real estate. For Kilman, we spent more on Kilman than we got for that. Actually makes me want to throw up. I actually want to throw up after. Thanks for that, El Chico. I want to be sick now. It's heartbreaking. So what needs to happen? Like, do you think, Scott, that there's anything to be done to make that stadium like something that we'd all be happy with and proud to, and everyone would want to go to? Or does it, like, as it is, like, and fixed and changed, or does it need to be completely demolished and a new one built?
It needs to be knocked down, mate. Let's
That's
be
what
honest.
Spurs wanted to do.
There's no saving that stadium. It's a fantastic athletic stadium, but it needs to be knocked down and start again and built as a purpose built stadium. Look, I've been on this channel for a long time, and I've said this many a time about that stadium and how badly it was put together, and the people at the top are to fault for the state that it actually is, because it was never designed with football in mind. And that's the issue that we've had with it. You know, it was always going to be a white elephant. And let's be honest, if we didn't move into it, that place would be falling apart by now. Well, it's falling apart with us in it, but it would have been empty and falling apart. But no, there's no saving the place. It needs to be pulled down and purpose built football stadium. You know, because it doesn't work. It's not a football stadium. You know,
Yeah,
it is an athletics track. The fact that it works better for baseball than it does football tells you
yeah,
all you need to know about that stadium.
100%, mate. You know what I mean? It's yeah, like hopefully one day that can happen. From what I've been hearing and what we've said, they've been banking on the LLDC giving us the stadium for nothing. That's what they've been waiting for, right? Probably waiting for that so they can sell it, because then they have an asset to sell with the club, right?
But
So,
the problem is now, though, Dan, it's not owned by the LDDC.
well,
They've
yeah, whoever it
it's the
is, yeah,
GLA now.
yeah, yeah. They're waiting for us to be, because of how much they lose on the stadium. They're waiting for them to give it to us for nothing.
But
So
I think that ship sailed because it's been handed over to the GLA. Let's be honest, it's the GLA will probably have a better financial backing, so to speak, or financial clout than what the LDDC is. You know, but at the end of the day,
it's still got to turn a profit, though, Scott.
they're never going to turn a profit down. That's the problem.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
this is why you buy it and you go and put in an offer. Like, if you're serious, you
yeah,
slap down a few tens of
that
mil.
that stadium will never ever be handed over to West Ham under the current regime of London. Put it that way. If you see a major change politically within London and some little person booted out of a job that he should never be in the first place, then you may get that that stadium handed over. But until then, they're just sitting there, just ripping us off, making us go there and pay ridiculous amounts of money to go there.
Yeah, no, I think that a financial offer, I think, would allow them to save face and say, look, now we've got this much money for the taxpayer. We're going to invest that back into XYZ. We'll move athletics to Crystal Palace, which is being redeveloped, or Birmingham, or whatever, right? If you give them money, then it's easier for them to sell that to the public, the taxpayer, right? If they were to give it to us, where it's like, bloody hell, like, you know what I mean? You've just given away this legacy, whatever. But we do need to either own this or buy some land somewhere else, like I said, at West Ham, whatever, wherever it is in East London, and build a new stadium. That,
But
as it is not good enough. We deserve better.
yeah, the problem is now, though, mate, whereabouts in East London, right, can you buy the amount of land that you need to build a football stadium?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I haven't. But we don't know that, Scott. There
No,
could be
but
somewhere.
there's, let's be honest, a lot of East London now has been redeveloped.
Yeah.
You know, so this is the problem. It's to move West Ham now. You're moving West Ham towards Essex and further out. You know, which okay, a majority of our fan base now probably do live out Essex Way and places like that. But we're a
No,
London
we have
club.
to be in East London. We have to be.
Yeah, we're a London club, and that's the problem. To move out now, you're as much as you've ripped the soul out of the club by moving from Upton Park to Stratford. As I said, we're still in East London, and you can't up roots and up sticks and move out to Essex because then it's not West Ham anymore.
No.
You know, and it's mad when you think about it, because I'm sure back in the day it was. Well, I know we bordered Essex, didn't we? I know we sort of still border Essex now, but I'm sure the Essex boundary was a lot further in than it is now.
Well, London used to be a tiny city.
So yeah,
and it's
very small.
expanded over
Yeah.
the centuries.
And that's the thing. But this is a problem. Our roots are East London. The club
Yeah,
is an East London football club.
yeah.
It needs to stay in East London. But as I said, to build a new stadium now in East London will be very, very difficult.
So Jay says Hackney Marshes. What's that reaction? You just were like,
Oh, mate. To be fair, I used to when we played football over at Masters, it was never nice over there. But yeah, that is one. But it's greenbelt land. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's hard. Do you know what I mean? It's hard.
Unless you just make Chadwell Heath the training ground again and smash up Rush Green and
Rush
turn that
Green.
into
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's big enough. Rush Green's big enough.
Remember, didn't we
You've already
own
got
land over Fords or something? Was it Fords or we owned some other land, or was that what Rush Green is on now?
Rush Green's used to be Ford's ground.
You're right, that is, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
remember before it was in Rush Green, there was talks of maybe building a stadium there, like so. Yeah, I mean it's not as convenient because the nearest you got Romford up the road, or you got but Dagenham Heathway, is the nearest stations, and then it's a bit of a walk, or the 5 bus.
That is the only problem as well. Is then you're getting the infrastructure back, especially if you build like the infrastructure to build a 60,000+ seat stadium. And the mad thing is that and this is the thing. This is the problem you've got is that takes Sullivan and all that out of it. When you look at a business point of view, right, the fact that we are in London is a big selling point to the club.
Yeah,
It attracts other people. It's the reason they put London in the badge because it's market.
This is a shout. Wanstead Flats.
I don't think you could build on that. Wanstead Flats is owned by the City of London, I believe. I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. Yeah, look, someone else. Few people saying Wanstead Flats. Let's buy Dagenham and Redbridge's ground. Yeah, fuck it. We'll have that. We'll let them have it. Like we could do a little ground share thing, like rebuild on that plot, right?
So someone put there, right? Beckton, just by the sewage works. If you've been to that part of Beckton, man, you drive, right? Whenever you've been away on holiday or something like that, and you're coming back to East London from like places like Gatwick or Heathrow, as soon as you hit to that 406 roundabout at Barking/Beckton, you're back in Beckton.
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, look, it's gonna be something that's not gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately, but it needs to happen. Like this cannot be our long-term home as it is. So, like I said, that's why we need someone with money, someone with ambition, to come in. If we had like a proper owner, like say Newcastle's or City or someone who's like, no, we're gonna buy this and we're gonna fucking build on it. Jaywick, fucking yeah, let's go Jaywick. you could just demolish the whole of Jaywick and just build but fuck going there. Yeah. You get back Dagenham's ground and give him Kilman. Yeah, instead of giving him 40 mil, here's Kilman. Poor fuckers have got Carroll getting sent off every week. I think they've had enough of West Ham players. Silvertown, Matt's saying, yeah, Matt's got all the ideas.
I think there's not. I don't think there's a lot of room in Silvertown anymore now. I don't know whether the old Tate's factory, the one that they do the syrups and all that's still there, whether you could buy that and take over that land.
Yeah. So Hermit Road, there you go, Scott. That's one for you, mate. Hermit Road.
Yeah. Again, this is the thing, is Matt, you're building on parkland and stuff like that, and there ain't enough of it in some places anyway.
So yeah, listen, let's hope something happens. We'll get into the manager talk, but first of all, obviously we're being sponsored this video by OK Jerseys. With everything going on, with all the displeasure that we have at the moment, the cost of shirts, OK Jerseys, £15 a shirt, 8% off with code Nicky. You go use it. We're hopefully getting more West Ham stuff, but they've got some current West Ham tops, the home and away. They've got the 99 to 2000 like Dagenham Motors top I think it's the Dagenham Motors one they've got, or the Dr. Martens top. The 1980 to 89 to 91 top, home and away. And they've got some good bits on there. So go check out England stuff with the World Cup coming up as well. They got all the nice retro England stuff from the 90s and onward. So go check it out. Like I said, okay, jerseys, code Nicky 8%. Is Nick coming on? He hasn't messaged me on Facebook. I was trying to get him to message me on Facebook. I'm trying to find. I can't even find the message button anymore because I followed him on Facebook, and then the message button is gone to message him. So I was hoping he would message me, but I think he's gone. So we've lost Nick. So yeah, if he pops back in, someone alert him and tell him message us on Facebook. He followed us back. So yeah, I barely use Facebook these days, so I'm completely lost, as you can see. So yeah, hopefully we get Nick on for a bit. Code Nicky. I know, what an arrogant bastard. Code Nicky. Still here. Right, Nick, drop us a message on the Facebook, then I can send you the link. Because I can't find the message button. So if you can message us or whatever.
You've got to find a message button.
You go on their page, right? I've got follow, search. There's 3 dots, report page, help Claret Booze, block, invite friends. Then there's a more, no message button. Like, how am I supposed to message? How am I supposed to message him? What am I supposed to do with this? Can't message on Facebook. Oh, for God's sake, Nick. For God's sake. Yeah, Ryan's just going to 1 tick. Wait, can I text him instead? I don't have his number and he can't put it in the chat. Like, he can't put his number in the. Is there a way I can just message Nick? Let me go on to our thing. I've never had to worry about this before. Yeah, Nick's just decided he's come off Twitter, and that's like my main.
Drano Am's good idea. Nick can email the contact email on YouTube.
What is the contact email on YouTube?
Hold on.
Oh, we got a batch for 50 members. Thanks, members. There is a new podcast with Dom for the cult heroes and up. Yeah. So if you want to become a member, you go see Nicky's thing with Dom. I completely forgot what Drano's idea was.
YouTube.
He said, YouTube, right? What did he say about it?
The message chat. There's got to be a thing. I'm looking it up now, mate. I'm trying to find it.
Why did I just type in YouTube in the YouTube search bar?
You could do. Let me look. I need to get back out into it.
That's what I just did. Right, let me see if I can click him in the chat. If I go onto our stream, I can click him. Where is he? Where is Mr. Claret and Booze? Go to channel activity, add as mod, put user in timeout, report. Okay, so I cannot message him. I can go to his channel.
He can email us on the thingy email.
What's the email?
Hold on, mate. It is. Switch accounts. Go back. HammerTimeTV66@gmail.com.
You message that, Nick. That's the one. Nick, if you're there, message that email. And then we'll sort it out. And then we can talk about Mr. Nuno Espirito Santo. Because I know you've got some thoughts on that, Nick. I know you've got some thoughts. So YouTube. I don't know why. I go into YouTube and I'm going to search YouTube. I wonder what comes up if you type in YouTube, search YouTube. What's in there? Just some random shit. Oh, video, funny enough. Oh, no, that's just some other bollocks. But yeah, load of crap.
No, it's me. I've
Scott,
just sent you something.
Scott sent me something. Right, so send us an email at that email address. Oh, okay. Scott sent some breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. We've lost claret and booze. So we'll wait for Nick to. We'll get on with it, and let me get some comments actually first. We've been neglecting the chat. Been neglecting you all, and apologies for that one. Has anyone looked where Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth were when GSB took our club over? They were tiny clubs. Now they're legitimately better clubs than West Ham on and off the pitch. That's a great point, Brandon. That's a really, really great point as it goes. And Draynol says he's milking the club. Ashley was supposed to be a shit chairman, but wiped their debts off. There you go. And Newcastle fans used to tell me that Ashley was worse than Sullivan.
But that's the thing, he come in, and this is the thing that I understand Newcastle's frustration and why they wanted him out and all that type of thing. But
He's emailed me.
he did make Newcastle sort of run on an even keel. Do you know what I mean? They weren't in debt, which is
Yeah.
for a modern day football club, not being in debt is a big thing. So
Yeah, you're right. Hold up. Nick's saying he's emailed us and no email is there. Have you emailed the right one, Nick? You remember the 66? HammerTimeTV66@gmail.com. I'm looking for you. He's not in spam. This is going swimmingly, isn't it? We've got Sheehan Mystery Box. Get up with Halfords in there. Fat Llama. This is all spam. Social. Nick, have you ballsed up the email? You've ballsed up the email, didn't you? Smooth sailing. Right. While Nick has another go, let me type it in the chat.
Nick, it's Hammer Time TV66@gmail.com. All one word.
Because obviously Nicky was going to call this channel Hammer Time TV. Could you imagine? Welcome to Hammer Time. Yeah, Mr. TV. No, it's Hammer Time TV. That's obviously what Nick wanted to call the channel originally. It was going to be how cheesy would that have been? Hammer Time TV, everyone. And he's got another email. I'm not going to read the full thing, but it's like he called himself Bubble Blower, and I was like, that's just a bit. How can you as a grown man call yourself Bubble Blower? Like bubble. It just sounds wrong, doesn't it? You just imagine Nick, I'm Bubble Blower. I'll blow your bubbles. Right, Nick's missed out the TV, so we should get an email from him any second, and I'll email him back with the link, and then we can talk football managers.
Hang on. This is true. Training ground had wheelie bins as an ice bath.
They did. Have you not seen the picture?
No.
Of the players in the wheelie bar? Let me find a picture. You not seen the fucking picture? It's brilliant.
That's ridiculous, mate.
That's like when I was a kid, right? I used to go around my nan's house, right?
Yeah.
And she had a wheelie bin. You just empty up, fill it up with water, and that was our swimming pool. Was the wheelie bin, the dustbin? Fill up with water, and you just stand in it. Like, no, it wasn't the wheelie bins. It was the bins, the old bins with the lids, the black ones with the lids.
Yeah.
Them
That's
ones.
Oh,
Yeah. That was our swimming pool. So I related to that. Newcastle bin training ground or something. I'll see what I can find.
While we're waiting for thingy, this someone said there a little thingy on the under 21s, 3-0 up again tonight. Earthy and Marshall both starting.
Wait, let me get it in focus.
Oh, that's mental, mate.
Look at it. What are they doing? What are they doing?
Wait, to be fair, we could do with some wheelie bins with some of our players, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Get them in the fucking.
Yeah.
Look, these are the proper wheelie bins. Look, these ones, Ad. Look at him.
That's embarrassing. But yeah, no, the under 21s again down playing tonight. winning. Earthby and Marshall both starting, and they both scored. Apparently, it's
There he
you know,
is.
let's hope now that we're going to see that Callum Wilson or Fulkrug are fully fit. That the fact Marshall's not being given a shout in the side again.
I've sent you the link, Nick. But this is what I'm saying. Like, I still think he shouldn't. He was never going to play Fulkrug. So what was the point of having him on the bench? Should have had Marshall on the bench. He's just recovering from this injury that was very recent.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave it all this talk about playing the youth, as special one there says.
Well, and this is the thing, and this is what they said. You know, we've put in bringing Potter in. It was to try and push the youth through and develop the youth through. And again, like you said, you saw we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Instead of a youth team player. You know, we had an opportunity where we're going into a game off the back of the win against Forest, and we've got no striker, and you've got a young kid that he may not be up to Premier League level, but putting a forward in a forward position with 10 other players around him who are experienced in the Premier League gives him a bit more of an opportunity, gives him a bit more of a chance, you know. And for me, I don't understand. You're bringing a manager in to sort of enhance the youth and push the youth through. And no disrespect, I know you know I keep digging him out a little bit, but you were openly trying to sell Andy Irvine, and you're bringing him on in the 89th minute or the 87th minute,
92nd minute.
Yeah, leaving Potsy on the bench. You know, you're still persisting on putting Rodriguez on the bench, who again you've been openly trying to get rid of.
Yeah, well, this is why he's under pressure, mate.
And this is the thing. This is the problem. You sometimes I just think that. Hello, Nick.
Welcome,
you
Nick. Welcome, Nick.
In the end.
Made it in the end. Bloody hell! That was
hard work.
That was bloody hard work, mate. We was going to send out a carrier pigeon. I was just about to send one out.
Just make it easier. I'll give you my number after this. It'd just be easier for next time.
Yeah. No worries, mate. But thanks for coming on. Obviously, listen, you've come on. We're going to be talking football managers. Graham Potter under massive pressure. So we're talking Nuno. We're going to get into Nuno. Scott sent me this update. And it says, whilst it's been confirmed to us that Potter has the backing from the board, bollocks. At the moment, the alternatives have been lined up just in case. We don't believe Potter's been given any deadlines, but a couple more bad defeats in the coming weeks. Ironically, with David, a couple more. We was hearing about bloody Palace. Like, if we lose to Palace, he's got to go. But they're talking about basically Slaven Bilic has been confirmed as a target, which is no surprise. And the club have met with Nuno. I did a video earlier. He was pictured near Sullivan's residency. Fadham. How do you say it? Fadham Boys?
Fadham Boys. Fadham Boys, yeah.
Fadham Boys, all right? He was pictured there. Nuno, like Nick, I'm not... I think he's a good manager, but I'm not overwhelmed by this because I just think it's more crap football, mate.
100%. I made the prediction towards the tail end of last season when Nottingham Forest were flying. I did a video. I don't know whether you saw the show that I did. They were flying. They just battered Tottenham. I hadn't watched the game. I tuned in. I had a look. And it was, I don't know what the score was, but Forest had about 25% possession. Spurs had all the possession. It was just a smash and grab. And I sat down. I made a prediction. I said there's parallels with what Forest are doing with what David Moyes' West Ham was doing at the time. We was winning against XG. We was counter-punching people. And look, it's great and it's exciting for a period when it works, until teams that you're playing against, they start giving you more respect because you can only get away with it so often. If every week you're catching teams out on the break, they're going to start giving you more respect. And then if there's no space to exploit, then all you've got left is a low block. There's nothing else there. Also, when David Moyes was excelling with the low block, he had a generational talent in central midfield in Declan Rice, who at the time was shielding, not playing a more advanced role because it all sort of fell to pieces for him when they switched roles. He also had far better centre backs. You know, he had your Zumas, your Ogbonas, your Dawsons, players that were more averse to a low block. And if you have a look at what Nuno had at Forest, he had far better defenders. He had Milenkovic, he got Murillo. But nonetheless, as with what happened with David Moyes, who I think is far superior to Nuno at that particular brand of football, it's temporary. It can't last forever. It's a short-term fix. And David Moyes acknowledged it. He acknowledged it himself. That is the whole reason why, towards the tail end of, I can't remember what season it was, when Newman came in and we brought all these players in, Paquetá and everyone else, there was a statement out there to say, we've been found out, which we absolutely had, and we've got to change our style of football. He embarked on trying to change the way that we was playing. He failed. We reverted back, and it kind of went to shit from there. In Europe, we was fine, but in the league, we've been suffering for donkey's years now. Well, it's not donkey's years, but at least 3 years, 3.5 years.
It feels like donkey's years.
It does feel like donkey's years, and this is just it's going back to that. That's all that is. And if you go and you have a look at his profile, anywhere that he's been, that is what he does. It's deep, defensive, low, mid block. He likes, vertical passes, long balls. It's basically what this is. This is locking us into this fucking death loop, taking us back. The trouble is we've got a generation of fans now that because of what David Moyes did with the low block, they think that the low block equals European Cup. And I think we're going to have a portion of fans that are going to be thinking just that. But we haven't. Again, if you go back to the statement they released, there was a big kind of section in there. There was where they was talking about their strategy now and how we're, with our new head coach and Macaulay, how they're going into this new style of football. What you're just going to bin that now, even though it's defensive with Potter, it's possession based. This would be completely different. It would be reverting back. And the players that we've got, I'll tell you something, if you're going to play a low block football, I think we're going to have to make this change anyway. But if you're going to play low block football, which means inviting pressure onto your goal, Hermansen's going to have to go. That's 15 million fucking wasted. You can't invite attackers onto him, can you? Do you know what I mean? No, for me, not a fucking chance for Nuno. The scary thing is, I think he'd come in, he'd probably do all right. I think he'd, as they always do. He'll sort us out. He'll make us more solid. We might score a few. There might be a few players. Bowen might look a little bit better playing for him. There might be a few players that do, but on the whole, we're going to end up back in the same situation again. And I just don't want to go through it all again. I really don't want Nuno. If he appoints him, that's the same as Daesh. There's no fucking difference. If he appoints him, it's the same as Daesh. I will do my pieces with that because it's insulting. How long, boys? I mean, we've been supporting West Ham long enough. All right, we've all been brought up with a really nice, beautiful, exciting brand of football. And that's why, even more so since we've been in this stadium, I've been trying to cling on to it, and I've been hate because it's all we've got left. All we've got left is our identification with the team on the pitch. But how long have we got to be a defensive team before that becomes the West Ham way? Boring West Ham. I'm fucked off with it. And I think most of the fans are. Look how many have just gone. You've walked away this year, Dan. Virgil's walked away this year after 30-odd years of a season ticket. There's so many people that are just binned it off now. And that's just a tiny representation. But the numbers must be massive.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Well, it was reported back in February. It was reported 29,000 season ticket holders has binned it off since we moved, right?
Yeah,
that was as of February. So keep in mind now, in June, I was one, Ryan was one, my uncle, right? These are just people I know. I know these are people I know. So you probably have got the capacity of Upton Park have left West Ham and cancelled their season tickets. That's insane.
The crazy thing for me, Dan, right, is that like where we sit. Obviously, you and your mum have gone, and your uncle's gone. But everyone who sits round us stood round us when we were there, even when we were losing, they'd be there till the 85th minute or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Literally at 2-0 the other day, people I've stood with for 4 or 5 seasons now, who I've stood there when we've been beat 3-0 and still stood beside me at 85 minutes, at 2-0 down, just up and walked out. And these are people that are there home and away. The guys, a few of the guys who sit around, let's go home and away. And they're walking out at 2-0.
They wouldn't do that at an away. They wouldn't do that at an away game, would they?
No,
They wouldn't do it up
exactly.
in Park either. Yeah.
No. But that's the thing. I think it's the dynamic of that stadium. Unfortunately, I think when you go away, you've got that kind of camaraderie. You're with each other. It's very nostalgic when you go away now.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that experience. But
We'll
when you're
get
at
to
home
this
versus Upton Park, at Upton Park, we saw it the very last game of the season. The team and the fans are one. When you have got the ability as a fan to affect what happens on that pitch. That's at least how you feel. You feel like you're part of it. And I don't think there's much you can do in that place to affect it. I think you're just literally a spectator. That's it.
But this is why. Go on, mate.
No, go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was going to say I did a video earlier, and yeah, no, frizzy hairs, spot on there. Nick knows his stuff. Yeah, I did a video about Nuno earlier, and I said the big thing is, with the way things are in the fan base and that stadium, we need a manager that can light a spark, right? And you get Nuno ball, which means give up possession, sit off teams, wait for them to misplace a pass, right? And then counter. That is not going to do anything to fix the issues in that stadium. You're just going to bore fans further. Like, if we had something that fans could get behind, because these teams, they're not putting in tackles. They're just waiting for interceptions to happen. And we want to see a team that's on the front foot, putting in tackles, pressing, and getting the ball up the pitch as quickly as possible.
Just have a fucking go. Have a go.
Yeah. But this is the thing. You look back at the Forest game, right? And what we say with Potter, where he's more a possession-based defensive type manager. You're playing possession football in your own half of
in your own half
of the pitch.
You're on third.
That whole stat of that first half. When you look back at that first half of the Forest game, the average positioning of a West Ham player, all 11 in their own half. The highest player was
so bad.
Exactly, and you can't play possession football like that. And what we're saying there with if we get a Nuno in and we want to play on the counter attack with a low block, one, we haven't got the defenders to do it. There's no pace in that side to counter. You take Somerville out of that team, there's no pace. Bowen isn't that quick.
He's not.
The midfield isn't quick, and you need to have that boom boom, one pass here, bang, you're on the break. It doesn't work. You're relying on a 33-year-old Callum Wilson to do that. You're literally taking that whole style of play. Fulkrug can't play in it because he ain't got the pace to do that. He hasn't got hold-up ability. We saw it with Skamaka.
I'm not so sure what Fulkrug is, bless him. I can't really work him out.
Yeah. But this is the thing, it's rinse and repeat with a target man, so to speak, of a striker, that we don't play football to suit their thing. I think the only time we've suited Fulkrug is that first 15 minutes when he played against Aston Villa, when we were trying to link up with a play there. Where's that gone? Where's that style? We're trying to play that type.
I think Lopetegui took the training session that day. That's where that's gone.
But we was pressing and winning the ball back high up the pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somerville and Kudus, right? Obviously, spit on his name. But they were doubling up on players, ganging up, getting the ball back, attack, right? Yep. And then you had Fulkrug dropping in, linking up, pass and run. Like, it was so. Me and Scott watched it together, right? We were buzzing. We were like, "Where is this?" Like that first half, I couldn't believe, and I thought, "This is it now, finally."
Yeah.
And then
Scholes looks really good in that game as well.
Yeah. And then what do we see? We go back to see the same sideways, backwards crap after that, and we're like, "Hang on, he's just completely fucking catfished us here."
Massively.
Like, cock teased us. What was that? Why aren't we? Arsenal was a good performance though as well. Like, these have been so few and far between. It's like, we know we can do it, so why do we always look so tepid?
Do you think it feels? Do you think it's a little bit sinister now that we've got someone who follows us, Sam as Mikey, who's very kind of he immediately called that out. He said when he threw Scholes in, because obviously he didn't have any time to have a look at the academy. He said that's a PR stunt. We'll throw a left back in from the, we'll put a kid in. And I said no at the time. I don't think so. But now we've seen what we've seen. I think that's absolutely right. Where the fuck is Potts? He's one of the best performing players in pre-season. What was the sense in all of that?
And we again.
And you got James Ward-Prowse, and I'm fed up talking about him too. I'm fed up watching him. I'm fed up talking about him. I just feel like we're never going to be rid of him. I mean, we Souček's gone for 3 games now. But out the two of them, I'd rather Souček play if one of them has to play. Because at least
Mate.
Souček offers you something.
He made James Ward-Prowse, who's been on loan for half the season, he made him our vice captain.
Fucking hell. Look at that leadership team.
Yeah, it says it all. Like, he's clearly viewing him as a key player to make him his vice captain. He plays over 90 minutes every game.
I know.
And this is the thing, you can't look. Prowsey, if you're going to have him in your midfield, you've got to put legs around him. You've got to have young players that are going to get involved and stuff like that. And it's the same with Souček. You can't, as much as you can't play a Rodriguez and Ward-Prowse midfield, you can't play a Souček and Ward-Prowse midfield. You see that. Souček, as I said, he adds a lot more. You'd rather see him play because he gives you something different with the aerial threat.
He adds something. He either blocks or he's good at defending set pieces. He's good at attacking set pieces. He's got a function. I don't know what James Ward-Prowse's function is.
No,
I really don't.
That's the problem. Since he's been here, it's typical West Ham that the fact that you bring in a player that's renowned for his set piece ability, and the guy don't score a set piece all season, or since he's been at the club. It's the true nature of West Ham United that we get these players with all this potential and all this ability.
We had that little glimpse, though, didn't we? Do you remember, like in pre-season, we had that last 20 minutes against Man United when we was playing what I called it at the time. I called it Paqueta ball because you had Paqueta freed up and you had him linking up with Guillermo, with Fearon, with Potts, one touch, quick, sharp passing. Looks so fucking good, didn't it? And one thing that was, and the reason we haven't seen that again is because all of those players, they were passing, but it was progressive passing, Scott.
Yeah.
They were passing and moving forward.
Potts, Fearon, Paqueta, we saw it in pre-season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They looked good. It looked so good. So why can't we see that? And I'm certain it's the only reason we keep on seeing James Ward-Prowse as averse to Alvarez. We weren't seeing Alvarez at CDM was because Alvarez is a CDM, but he's a progressive CDM. So he will either drive the ball forward or he'll pass forward. That's what he does. I think he puts James Ward-Prowse there because we know what he does. Sideways, backwards, hold it in your third, Scott. You saw it in the stats that you mentioned. So it's all by design. But why is he doing it though?
I can't work him out.
No,
he's lining up substitutions.
Yeah.
Go on, Scott.
You look at it, right? When we lost Deck, when Deck went, we lost that player that had the ability to drive the ball forward. We signed Alvarez, and the whole concept of getting Alvarez in, he's a holding midfielder that can do that. He can drive the ball forward. He can bring the ball out from the back, take it off the centre back, drive it forward. What do we ask him to do? We ask him to do box-to-box stuff.
Or play him in a 10. I've seen him a few times.
Box-to-box. I know. And then we're sitting there saying, well, he's crap.
He ain't got the legs to do that.
Yeah, goes back to his country, plays that exact position that he's good at, and looks good. And it just seems to me that the same again, managers, as keep saying, this rinse and repeat style of play and all that. The managers are not in control because there's no way you look at a player like that, of that ability, who can play that holding midfield role and drive the ball forward, and you're asking him to do box-to-box work. Yeah. You're asking a holding midfielder to chase down the goalkeeper.
It's ridiculous. None of it makes any sense.
I was willing to give Potter a lot of benefit of the doubt of, okay, when Magassa's ready, when Wilson's ready, when this player's ready and everything up to run, he'll play the team. But where he really lost me is I looked at him when we were 2-0 down or 1-0 down as well to Spurs. And like the other day against Wolves, where he just looked lost. He looked completely lost. He filled me with no confidence whatsoever. He's just stared into space.
He's got no life in him whatsoever.
Yeah.
On the sidelines, none.
Nothing. And I just thought he's not a West Ham manager. He's not.
He's not at all. And did you see that thing what Troy Deeney posted? That little skit that he did, and he went on to talk about the managers, and he said, "I think he's right. He weren't being disrespectful to West Ham. He said, West Ham." They're a particular type of fan base. They're fiery. They like to have a connection with the manager, with the players on the pitch. And I think he said, the last 4 or 5 managers, the board have got it completely wrong. Because we did. I think with Bilic, there was a connection there. He was quite an emotional guy. He seemed like a nice, genuine chap. It felt like he was one of us. We got behind him, and we had fun that season. But and then they went and kneecapped him the following year, didn't they? But I just
even Sherwood was saying it to me when I was on with him. He was saying, like, it's personality. Like, West Ham want managers who's got something about them and you can connect with them. And I just can't relate to this geezer at all.
How,
Like he
how is
just,
that? How is that not a key part of the criteria
yeah.
for
Do you remember we
being a
used to dig
manager?
out Sam? Do you remember Sam when he used to sit there with
Yeah,
his
yeah.
arms folded, right, in the dugout like that, not fucking getting up and doing anything? We used to dig him out for that. Like years later, we got this guy. He stands there, but he just looks lost. He looks like he don't know where he is. And what then against Wolves, he's looking through his little book. His hands are shaking. I'm just thinking, my
That
God,
was when we
what
was winning. Do you remember that? He was panicking because we was winning. In that, yeah, he was shitting himself.
what the players got to feel like? What must the players feel if we're looking at this and seeing this as fans? And you're looking at him and he's just like this.
Yeah,
You think,
but in terms of who does come in, I kind of feel sorry for it. Look, I don't want any more defensive managers, but I
well,
really
this is
do.
the thing, Nick.
I really
Who
do feel like that. I feel like we're a little bit fucked to whoever. I think especially if we go for a defensive manager, because I don't think we've got the defenders to play a defensive style. We haven't got the outlet. We ain't got an out ball. You know, we haven't got like a big target man or a good target man. We ain't got enough runners, as Scott said. I don't think we can play that style. I don't know what this squad is really. If we were to start utilising, you know, some of the youth players that we've seen and that we've been watching, they won again today. Then maybe I don't know. But the squad that's been built is a fucking joke. It really is.
we can play a brand of, for the rest of the season, a brand of counter-attacking football that's a little bit more proactive than wait for the opposition to make a mistake, block off passing lanes. We can play a brand of football if you have the Somervilles and you have some youngsters, Guilhermes, you get these other players in where, okay, the team may have more of the ball, but you're going to pick your moment, put in a tackle and go on the attack. I don't think with this build up from the back stuff, we haven't got the defense for it. You know, we ain't got the players to do all of this, right? We're going to slowly pass it and build and build and build.
I really don't want to say that either, really.
No, I'd be happy to go, right, okay, look, we're on the back foot. Let's go into it, right? For the rest of it, it's not sustainable, but you let the other team have the ball and we will try to get the ball off, put in a tackle, move, pass, let's go. For the rest of the season and then build on that. Because even under Lingard, right, when we had Lingard under Moyes, that season when he was there, that was
exciting to watch that season.
It was exciting counter-attacking. It was more proactive. I'd be happy to see something like that.
Was that when we had like Lingard and we had Lanzini and we had Fornals and we had players like that? I mean, fuck me, take me back to them days.
But that's the thing. You've got players there that will just run. Yeah, and he'll run and put the
instead of Lingard, we have Somerville in that position now to do that role.
But the problem is, Dan, is that we've not got the defence to play a low box style of football, but we've not got the attack to play a possession based style of football. You know, we're screwed either way, and this is the big issue here is that we need a transitional manager that can transition from one style to another. We need a manager that's got more than one system. This is the biggest issue we've got is that, again, where Moyes started to go wrong was Moyes always did set up that way, to be fair, was we'd set up against Man City, how we set up against Luton, how we set up against Forest, how we set up against Chelsea.
One size fits all.
That's it. We need a manager that will tinker the system and tinker the starting 11 to the opposition.
Like Frank for Spurs, he does that.
Yeah.
Frank, De Zerbi.
Yeah.
And that's what we need now. And we've got to mix up. Look, youth definitely isn't the answer. We're in a bit of a shit, right? And we can't chuck loads of youth in at once. But
I don't think no one's asking for that, Scott.
But adding a sprinkle here and now gives you that. It brings the fans back. Let's be honest. If the fans
bring the fans back,
playing, the fans come back because they'll get behind the youngsters. They'll want to see the youngsters given a chance. You know, we've got, Marshall's going to work for you. We've seen glimpses of what Earthy can do. We've seen glimpses of what Compots can do. You've got Fearon as well. You know, these are players that can bring the fans back to the games to say, right, we're going to get behind these players. You know, and
Mo Kante up there, mate. He looks like a beast. That's the sort of player we've been crying out for in that midfield.
But give them the opportunities. This is the problem we're not doing. They're still not giving them the opportunities. They're so fearful of putting him in. We saw it with Scholes. He come in last season. He done great in some games. Some games it didn't suit him. Other games it did. But give him that chance.
You know the problem with Scholes, Scott? Why Potter is so short-sighted? In January, we're going to lose the youth and Wan-Bissaka. Carl Walker-Peters can only cover one of them positions. either right back or left back.
Yeah,
We haven't got another back. So if Scholes doesn't play any football for the rest of the year, then all of a sudden we have to chuck him in at left back from January onwards. What does that do?
But this is the thing of that exit out of the Carabao Cup, mate. That's the biggest issue there. We were in a winning position where we should have seen out that game. You know, we lost to a Wolves side that have been awful in the Premier League. You know, that made a lot of changes in their team. This is the thing. We needed that Carabao Cup to give these youngsters the opportunity, chuck them in there and give the squad.
He didn't even play Potts in that game.
No,
yeah, he didn't even play him in that game, Scott.
And that's the biggest issue, is that you've got a chance there to go, right, it ain't going right in the league. We've got this cup distraction. They're going to make changes. I'm going to give these guys a go. I'm going to give them an opportunity. He didn't.
No.
And he just stuck with what he knew, and we fell flat because he stuck with what he knew. He put the Rodriguez's in and stuff like that instead of giving a couple of youngsters a chance.
It's horrible because I mean, look, I want them to get it right because we've seen the damage it's done with these managers because look, if you're losing constantly and you're playing a shit brand of football, the players get miserable as well, and that's why we end up with this big rotation of players, and players want to leave.
I didn't dream of playing like this, did they?
No,
Nick?
no.
It wasn't this.
Not at all. And that's part of the reason. And especially in that stadium, you know, we've gone to the stadium of that of a big team. You know, if we were going over there watching amazing, beautiful champagne football and we were winning, it would be bearable, more than bearable. We'd enjoy it. Different to Upton Park, but it'd be different, you know, in a good way, something different. You can't be little old West Ham in that fucking place. You can't play like that. Not at all. You can't even consider playing like that. That can't even be part of the strategy. But how can they change direction so often? You know, there is never any strategy, any vision to anything they do. We'll try a director of football. That don't work. Don't want a director of football no more. We'll try a possession-based manager. Now we're going to go back to a low block manager. Now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do that. It's all over the fucking place. It always has been. Yeah, they lucked out with Moyes. They never got Moyes in by design for Moyes to do what Moyes did. That was lucky. You know, they never, you know, that was lucky on their part that he did that. That was on Moyes, not on them.
Yeah, I've been saying that for ages because look right. They got Moyes in the first time to rescue us, keep us up. Obviously, after went sideways, they let him go. Got Pellegrini. Pellegrini went sideways. They got Moyes in to keep us up again. And instead of letting him go, they thought, right, we'll stay stable with Moyes. They had no idea that, okay, right, we'll keep Moyes. Moyes is this is the strategy to get us into Europe. They were like, safe, stable, let's stabilize. And it clicked, right? It clicked because Moyes played that brand of football in that early period of time that teams couldn't handle because they weren't, like you said, Nick, earlier, they weren't paying us the respect. We had been a shit team. And they was on the front foot against us, giving us loads of space at the back.
Yeah.
Counter,
exploiting them.
Apart, set pieces. We were killing teams.
But
and then
you've also got to remember, Moyes got lucky with Lingard. Well, that's the thing. That Lingard signing for that spate at the end of that season put us where we were. You know, that was a very lucky signing.
I find it harsh to say lucky because I don't say that Bilic was lucky with Payet. Same I don't say because he wanted Lingard. To be fair to him, he did want Lingard. That was a signing that he pushed for. He got him, played him well, and you know he got what he got out of him. Right, but you're right.
That was a good season. But I put it down to our whole European journey. I do think it all kick-started through COVID, and I think it all comes back to this stadium. Because I think we are the only club in that Premier League that do not have a home advantage. I think everyone else suffered and we didn't. Yep. We didn't.
That's exactly why I say Nick, right? When they say we need to move to this stadium to achieve X, Y, Z. Yeah. Now they're saying, see, we got Europe and we got a trophy. We would have achieved all that and more if we stayed at Upton Park, without a doubt.
100%. Well, the competition we won didn't exist when we was at Upton Park anyway. Yeah. You know, you didn't get in Europe for getting 7th place, did you?
No, exactly. Yeah, and we challenged for top 4 under Big Sam. Yeah. And instead of giving him a new contract, and then if he didn't work out, sacking him, they said, no, you're not getting a new deal. Bye-bye in December. Tanked our season, right? Then under Big Slav, we challenged for top 4. Yeah, we fell short, but we challenged, right? Moyes again, and this is my other issue, is because they're so cheap. 2 managers now, they've had us in contention at Christmas. Big Sam and Moyes, right?
Yep.
Both of them fucked him over on a contract. Players think he's not going to be here this season. Tank us because they're so risk averse. Instead of going, Moyes is a 3-year deal. Then if the next season, if he's shit, just sacking him and paying him off and getting someone else in.
I do think it was all by design, though. I think it's more sinister than that. I think Sullivan wanted Moyes gone because Sullivan had it written into his contract that he had final say on signings, and they was falling out over the players that they was bringing in. So I think that he used Stuyton because the reason Moyes didn't sign the contract in the end was because he was going to have to be reporting to Stuyton. Well, that was obviously all bollocks because when Moyes was gone, that was not the case with Lopetegui. So I think they used Stuyton to get Moyes out of the fucking club, to get him out of the picture. And they again, the sliding doors moments that we've had, we had, 15, 16, great team. They diluted it with shit the following season. All we needed was, 2, 3, 4 really good players to add to what we had. Would have been completely different. We'd have built. You look at what Spurs did in the Europa. Ange was done. He was dead at Spurs. He'd proved it beyond any doubt in the league that he was not good for Tottenham. So they used what he did. They said, thanks very much, mate. Won us a trophy. We're going to move on and use that as a springboard to get better. Yep. We had that opportunity. We used it. I don't know what we did. That we announced the very next day that Declan Rice was being sold for 100 fucking million, and it's been a steady decline ever since. And it's a managed decline as well. Yeah. Look at what they did when Lopetegui came in. You talk about strategy. What other club will have a director of football, an owner, and a manager pick 3 players each in a window?
Yeah. It's fucking mad, isn't it? You have yours. We'll all take turns. We'll take
it's
turns.
Fucking mad.
Yeah. It's perfect. And the thing is, right? I'll just make this point.
Go on, mate. No, go on.
I was going to say the other thing we forget is the downturn of form also coincided with the timing of Alan Irvine leaving West Ham. Alan Irvine leaves West Ham. Obviously, Stuart Pearce also ended up leaving, which didn't help because I thought he did a good job. But Irvine leaves, our form dips. Moyes goes back to Everton, brings back Irvine, who goes back. All of a sudden, they're looking pretty good. We remember that game, right? And I know you remember it, Nick, because I know you was when Alan Irvine took over. I know you was vocal on that one, but he took charge in it for a couple of games, and we was brilliant. And a few of us were like, "Fucking Alan Irvine, maybe he's the guy."
He's a magic ingredient, I think.
Yeah, he's that. It's not to take away from Moyes.
No,
but these two together were magic, and we've lost a key component that made us what we were. And I can't forgive the geezer because he's just gone back to join him now at Everton. He fucked off at West Ham. Maybe it was a Sullivan thing, then I can forgive it. But that's a big thing that we don't talk enough about.
I think it's safe to assume that it is a Sullivan thing. I mean, did you guys see the ex West Ham employee, the guy who'd worked there for a year?
The Spurs fan, yeah.
The Woolly at the Spurs fan. Did you see that, Scott?
Scott won't seen it unless it was on ITV or something.
Well, basically, this guy he worked quite high up in the media department. It was a little TikTok thing that he done. Worked there for a year. First of all, he said, "I'm a Tottenham fan. Why are they really employing fans?" Which he said is something they make a habit of. They make a habit of employing people that support other clubs. But he said in the entire time that I was there, Karen Brady's office was directly opposite where I sat. Virtually never saw her at all. He said they used to laugh and joke within their little environment about how these people are running this club. They said they are like market traders. It's every bit as bad as what you can imagine. It's ridiculous that a multi-million-pound business is run by these people. So that's the thing. As bad as what we think it is, I think it could quite possibly be even worse.
Yeah,
I think it could behind the scenes. It's. Yeah, I don't know, and that's the other thing as well. I don't think that because if you think about it like that, their market trader mentality, they probably do think to themselves, "Look at what we've done. This is great. Big stadium. We're in the Premier League." I think they do think they've done a good job.
And that's the thing. They look at the optics of it all, don't they? They look at it.
Yeah.
We've got this massive. You see on Sky. I think it was yesterday. I put it in a chat. We're the 7th highest attended club in Europe.
Yep.
Right. So they see that. They see the average attendance of 61,000 week in, week out. They see this big, lovely stadium. They see the fact they've delivered a European trophy. Right. They look at it and going, what are all these people moaning about?
I know.
We've spent nearly, what was it, nearly £1 billion in transfers over the course of their time that they've been here. They look at all that side of it and go, yeah, you know what, we've done a good job here. We've done what they're moaning about. We know they weren't moaning when we won the European trophy, and that's the thing. They don't get that the shit stadium and the crap style of football is bearable when you're winning.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the
And
Yeah,
problems
of
have not
course.
gone away.
Of course, yeah.
We just
Yeah.
well, we're winning. We don't mind watching
And
winning football.
I'll be honest, I would give up if you have the option. I would give up the Conference League trophy to move back to Upton Park. If we could
All
get
day
Upton Park
long.
back,
Oh, all day
Yeah.
long.
you can have it. I'll take
Oh,
Upton.
all day. I mean, look, a wonderful, wonderful day it was. But I think that competition over the course of the next 10, 20 years, if you have a good season, you could be standing a good chance of getting into that competition. And those Premier League teams that are in it, like Palace are now, they can have a good chance of winning it as well. But no, look, I would swap anything for Upton Park to get that back again. That's the root of all evil for me. It has been. I tried. I was there for about 5 years, so obviously I migrated over. I tried for about 5 years. I was hating it more and more each time, each year.
Yeah.
I kept on going back. I was like, I just can't do this anymore. And
I think it was 9 for me, or 8 or 9, or whatever it ended up being. Yeah, and I'd been thinking about it for a few years, and then I bit the bullet, renew, bit the bullet, renew. So yeah, honestly, this is the thing with managers, because we've got to talk about managers, what we do. We're doing West Ham manager, but I don't get excited. I don't get any feeling of, oh, we'll get this manager. Things can change because
we know what we're going to get for a start. It's going to be it's going to be another someone that we're not. For instance, right? Why don't they just once? Why don't they, rather than getting a manager that's battered and bruised from a previous failure, or someone who's just a name at the top and who's stuck in his ways, why not get somebody who's on an upwards trajectory as opposed to somebody who's on a fucking downwards trajectory? Get someone young, full of ideas, someone who needs to prove themselves. Get someone in like that. Why not? You know?
Yeah. Bournemouth did it with Iraola.
Well, exactly. You know, why not do that? And I don't understand it, because I don't get the stubbornness from Sullivan, unless he is so disconnected with what people like us talk about and on social media, because everyone says the same things more or less. So if they don't want these protests, and I can't believe that they want a disgruntled fan base, why don't they just try and give us a little bit of fucking something back that we actually want? And on the pitch is really what matters. It is. Yeah. None of this other stuff will go away. It won't. We're never going to love that stadium. We're not. We're never going to forgive them for what they've done. But the reason this all comes bubbling back up to the surface all the time is because they refuse to give us anything, you know, just to throw us a bone. I mean, the last few managers, you know, Moyes wasn't at the top of anyone's list. Lopetegui wasn't at the top of anyone's list. Potter wasn't at the top of anyone's list either. And I can bet my life on the next one. If there's four managers that people are running polls on, the bloke at the bottom of the list is the one that Sullivan employs.
Yeah. Exactly.
It'll be the same again.
And that's the thing. I think if they had any fucking sense, right, to go and see all this disgruntled thing, do you know what? We're going to do something we never do. We're going to go and find a quality manager. We're going to buy him out of their contracts. We're going to chuck some money at the football club, say, we rate him. We want your manager. We're taking him. Here we go. Like, imagine, like, everyone will be like, what the fuck? Like, maybe something's happening here. But they don't. They're just going to go, right, here's the freebies available. We're just going to go and get the fucking easy.
Yeah.
And all, got to be Premier League. This is the thing as well, Scott. All the managers they go for, they've got to have been in the Premier League. Thomas Frank had never been in the Premier League. Oliver Glasner never been in the Premier League. Iraola never been in the Premier League. Slot. Like, you could go through all these successful managers that other clubs have brought in that then are coveted by bigger clubs, never managed in the Premier League. But you know what? Yeah. Scouting was on point. You look at them and go, he's got fresh ideas. He plays this way. He's on, like Nick said, upwards trajectory. Let's bring him in. But we look at, oh, it's easy. Potter, he's managing the Premier League. Lopetegui.
And cheap.
Nuno and cheap. Free and in the Premier League. That's all it is. Free and safe. And this is it. False economy.
Clearly not safe, though, because the mistakes that they've been making is anything but safe as far as I'm concerned.
The problem is, mate, when you're so risk averse constantly, like you end up shooting yourself in the foot and you end up going backwards. Like it's great. He's basically like Del Boy, except Del Boy at least said, "He who dares wins." Sullivan never dares, and he never wins.
I just think you've got to take your opportunities, don't you think, Scott? Like when you're West Ham, when you get these rare opportunities to progress, like we had off the back of that European thing, and like we did in 15-16, you kind of, fuck me, we're onto something here. Yeah. You've got to build on that, because the Premier League don't stand still. It don't. And you've got to capitalise on it. And we never does. If he has a good season there, if he gets in a manager that does that upward trajectory, he'll have one good season. Sullivan will fuck him the following year.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. It's again rinse and repeat of what he's done before. Like we said with Bilic, he had a great season. And that was a hard season to navigate at the last season at the Upton Park. It was always going to be difficult moving to the London Stadium, but they didn't back him properly. And this is a problem. But they're never going to do that. They don't look beyond the one season.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean? Their vision point is this season. Right, we've got to get through this season. Key factor of this season, staying in Premier League. Yeah. That's the key factor for them. They don't look at trying to build a structure of what we see at Brighton and places like that, where they put in a structure where they're forward thinking all the time. Like I said, it is very much our transfer policy scattergun approach.
Yeah.
It's very hit and miss with everything we do, and they're happy to take the claim when they get it right. But then they ditch it. Potter was never the right manager. I said this when Dan and you're back in. I said this when we signed him. I hope I'm wrong, but he isn't a good manager. And this is the thing, and this is the worry for me, is that whoever we're going to get in, there's too many managers on that merry-go-round of they get employed with clubs. They keep you up, they keep you up, they keep you up. You've now got to start looking beyond that. You've got to start looking at a plan. And as much as I don't want to see West Ham get relegated, if we were to get a manager that's got a forward-thinking mentality that's going to change the way we play football, the style of play, and he comes in with his squad of players and it doesn't work and we get relegated, but we start seeing these changes, we start seeing the youth get implemented.
Wouldn't be the end of my world going down.
And you have faith that he can bring you straight back up.
Yeah. I would take going down just to start seeing a change in the way this club is run, the way these things done.
Well, look, I mean, we keep on just existing in the Premier League. We're like the whipping boys. I mean, do you know what? If I could transport us now to the Championship for a year, where we just had 30,000 real West Ham fans lining the bottom tiers, as opposed to 60,000 diluted fucking tourists playing, well, I'd do that now. I'd be back over there. I'd buy a season ticket. I'd go over there again. If I could literally now snap my fingers and think, well, we can actually go and watch us win some games. We might actually get promoted.
Man United and Arsenal fans over there anymore.
No.
That's for damn sure.
No, that's what I mean. And that ain't me saying that I want us to get relegated. But what we're doing at the moment is we're just existing, and we're doing the bare minimum to exist as well.
And the thing is, when you look back at when we was at Upton Park, right? We've all been there at Upton Park. We've all seen us be absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
At Upton Park.
Oh, of course.
The difference was we'd have a go. Do you know what I mean? There was the odd occasion we get rolled over, right? There's the odd occasion.
Yeah.
But we gave it a go, and we had the special nights where we nicked a point off of a really, really good Man United side. We turned Arsenal over. We turned Chelsea over. Chelsea weren't that big then, but you know what I mean? We turned the big boys over.
Yeah.
Now,
went for it.
I've been very Dan and back me up. I've deliberately not gone to games when we're playing the big boys, knowing that we're going to get a hiding.
Yeah.
I've done that since we've moved to the London Stadium. I knew we would get. I've been there for a few of the hidings, but a lot of them I'm like, we're getting slapped here. I ain't going to bother going.
Mate, we've got hidings there from the most near all the time we've been there.
Yeah,
like the entire time we've been at that stadium.
I was never like that at Upton Park.
No, this is it.
No, of course not. Well, do you know why? Because you always felt like there's shit. It don't matter how shit you was. You always felt like we was good at upsets. The odd occasional upset, we could pull something out the bag. And do you know something? When you are shit, which we were for very long periods, you appreciate the good times. You've got to be there. You've got to go through those nights for the and it's different because when you're going and watching West Ham getting battered by Arsenal, not that it happened very often. They rarely got battered at home. We used to lose, not get battered, but if you're sitting there on 80 minutes, you're not sitting there surrounded by the opposition, but you know they're there. You know that you're surrounded by opposition fans, neutrals. You're not with your own. That makes it worse. But can I just tell you what I think? What my choice would be if with the options that are on the table. So with the options that we've got on the table, which it looks like now is, I don't really buy the Bilic one. I think it's Dyche or it's Nuno. That's what I think. It's going to be one of them two. Now, for me, if Potter was to go next, and we're going to have a bit of a shit season anyway, a bit of a transition season, I do think we've got enough talent and quality, got star quality players to help us through this season. Therefore, when you look at the talent that we know that we've got in the academy, and I'm not saying throw them all in, I would rather promote from within and get somebody from the academy that can really manage the pathway. Somebody that's been working with these kids, that's been coaching them, bring them into that first team, and use a combination of the very best players that we've got, and use this season, if it's going to be a shit one, as a development season. Yep. Use it as a development season. Try and create some stars, bring some players through. If we're not going to do anything anyway, and I think we've got enough talent. If you got, Paquetá clearly enjoys playing with those lads that were, we've seen it because they play a similar brand of football that he connects with. Like it's that quick one-touch passing, which is what we want to see. And you know something, the fans would have so much more patience with that. Yeah. If you're watching your own. So for me, that is what I would prefer, rather than going out and getting a Dyche or a Nuno, promote from within and make this a fucking development season, and do be ruthless. People like Rodriguez, James Ward-Prowse, Souček, players like that, buy. Don't have them there. They're blocking the pathway for these kids for a start. And when you look at us financially, that there was a Telegraph report the other day that shows this disparity now between us and Spurs. It's heartbreaking. This world-class deal that we've got for this stadium. Apparently, Spurs make around about £87 per person per game on a match day. So they've found ways of really maximising their match day revenue, which we cannot do. Ours comes to about £27 per person per game. So it's ridiculous. Now, that means that the only way that we could ever feasibly compete is through developing players and selling players and making money on what we buy. So we've really got to be shrewd in the transfer market, that's the only way. Well, we've made profits on 4 players in 15 years at Sullivan's Bolt. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Sums it up, and that's the thing. And when you don't use your youth team, your youth players, you're not increasing any value on them. So when they're not good enough and you have to sell them, they've got no experience in the Premier League where you can go and say, well, look, give us 10 million for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're selling these academy players for like hundreds of thousands. Like some of them we're giving away for nothing. Where you look at them and think, just because they're not good enough for West Ham, don't mean you can't get 10 million from a championship team and they'll be good enough down there. Like, that's the problem. But looking at this, there's a report here, right, from Claret and Hughes. So we'll take everything with a pinch of salt because we know what he's about. But I want to get your thoughts on this if it's true, right? So it says West Ham appear to be ploughing ahead with preparations to replace Graham Potter as manager should he lose to Crystal Palace tomorrow. If Potter leaves, Carl McCauley will follow him. And if we lose, Nuno is set to be offered the job, right? But the Carl McCauley thing. Carl McCauley was brought in as a recruitment analyst. He's followed Potter everywhere where he's gone, although he did stay behind for a period of time at Chelsea, which we got him out of the job and brought him here from Chelsea. It seems to be, from what this is saying, if it's true, Potter goes, Carl McCauley goes
because they're blaming him for they're going to hold them both up like sacrificial lambs. Let's ignore the fact that Carl McCauley isn't a director of football, and what he's probably fouled at is a negotiation piece, which he can't do. Plus, he's got the baby reins on from Sullivan, who holds the purse strings. But what he's clearly got is talent ID. He can spot a good player. He's done it for Chelsea. He's done it for Brighton. So why couldn't he be brought in? Why couldn't he be retained and used as part of a really good scouting system that we've got coming in? You get a director of football, because they're two different jobs. Getting somebody to spot talent and analyse how good a player is, and getting somebody to go out and basically dot all the I's, cross all the T's, do all the negotiations, that's a different role altogether. We haven't got anyone at the club that can do that. That was Tim's job. And to be fair to him, he got them done. Whoever more or less he went out there after, you saw he was coming back. I was on the plane with him. You know, we saw it with Todibo. Whether you agree with the signings or not, more often than not, those players were. I mean, I still don't believe he was given full control, Tim. I still think that he was.
wasn't.
He was. I mean, this player, that Kante, apparently we paid 50 grand for him. That was a starting pick.
Yeah.
Brought him in,
Guilherme,
loaned him back out.
People shit on Guilherme, mate. He looks. I think
I
he's
like
gonna
him.
be a top player. Yeah, I think given a chance, he'll be a top player.
And this is the thing. This is where it all boils down to Sullivan's ego. You know, this is the thing you bring in, and like you said, he uses scapegoats. He brings people in and makes them scapegoats for his own gain. You know, and I go back to what I said earlier. When a signing works, Sullivan signed him. He was Sullivan signing. He weren't a manager signing. He weren't anyway. And this is the thing. He uses
as soon as Somerville has a good game, it leaks that it was a Sullivan signing.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. And when you're bringing in a Stighton or a Macaulay, you've got to have a structure of, right, this is how we're going to play. This is what we want to go going forward. So you then, so this is what we're looking for player-wise. We're going to bring in a Macaulay. Right, we are scouting these type of players that Macaulay thinks have got the potential to go on to be good players that, one, either we benefit from because we're going to go on and win a trophy, or we're going to get a big transfer fee for, which then lets us reinvest into the club, which is what happens at Brighton and alike. Then, right, so if this is the style we're going for, we now need to bring in a manager that suits that style. Stighton come in, we haven't had a manager that suits the style of play that Stighton's picking up these players.
He had other managers lined up. He wasn't allowed to have them.
Well, yeah.
And that is it, because Sullivan wants this bit of control. Sullivan wants this. He has these little things where, you take all the flat, I'll look good when it comes to it, but overall I'm in control. And that's what it is. It's that power trip that he's got, that he has to have the final say on everything. And anything you put underneath him is never going to work. Why he's still like that?
No. The reason we got him, the reason we got Stighton in the end, there was 2 directors of football that came and interviewed for the job. I know this much. It was Sports X, who came on there. He was involved in that. And you had him, Tim Stighton, and you had Rui Braz. Now Rui Braz is a legit director of football at Benfica. Yeah. He got brought into Benfica when they was in financial turmoil because they'd spent badly for years, and it was bad. Now you look at this man's CV. He spent 320 million, and his return is 1.2 billion. And off the back of that, so he creates players. He does this, he does that. They've won trophies. This man is legit. Like, he's fucking brilliant, and he takes pride in what he does as well. But he demands full control. It has to be written into his contract. The minute apparently Sullivan saw that, he was like, no, not interested. No. Sullivan was happy to take, Stighton was happy to take a more menial role adjacent to David Moyes, because Stighton wasn't an actual director of football at the time. I didn't realise that. You know, he hadn't done that job before. He was the
technical director, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, but Rui Braz wanted to come in and basically go, well, that's fine. I'll do it. You're a sleeping giant, great fan base. Give me the keys. Sullivan ain't doing that. That's why we.
That's what we need. We need a football man to have full control. And the thing is,
it's the short-sightedness of Sullivan, because, and this is again taking the football aspects out of it, bringing in someone like that who has generated that amount of income for a football club.
Yeah.
From a business point of view, you bite your hand off to take that.
Of course.
And this is it. This is where I said, this is the thing. It's a power trip on Sullivan.
He's got a Napoleon complex, mate. It's a Napoleon complex.
Exactly. That's the thing. Control. You don't want anyone else looking good at running your business apart from you. And that is what he tries to do.
This is it. He needs to see it. It's not his business. It's a football club he owns. We're a football. It's not his fucking sex shop. It's not his fucking dirty magazines or his porn production fucking thing. It's a football club, and you've got to look at it different. And for him to blame, and I just want to talk about this. You touched on it earlier, Nick, that he's blaming Carl Macaulay, right?
Yep.
Let's look at the signings that we're pretty confident we know are Carl Macaulay's, right? So Diouf, we all love Diouf. Diouf,
tick,
fucking tick straight away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Magassa, jury is out on Magassa, but I think
not an expensive player either. Not an
expensive 13 player, million, but someone we really want. Who else would we say is?
We'll ignore Hermansen.
Right, Hermansen is that's definitely. But John Victor's not looking much better, is he? At fucking Forest, like, let's be real.
No,
the alternative wasn't even good. So we
I
was
think
really,
I think the goalkeeper was the goalkeeper. You know, the goalkeeper coach that we brought in.
yeah,
I think I think he had a part to play in that one because
yeah, I
didn't
did
he
hear
coach
that.
him at Brondby? Didn't he coach him at
Yeah,
Brondby or something
I
before?
did hear
I
that
don't know.
that was the goal. I did hear that quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was the goalkeeper coach. Fernandez, is that a Cole McCauley signing? Are we saying that, or are we attributing that to-
I feel like we've got some sort of affiliation with Southampton. There must be some sort of agreement between Sullivan and the Saints chairman because with him and James Ward-Prowse, we've given them about 80 million. So I reckon there must be some sort of favourable deal going on there. I reckon.
Yeah,
That's probably
it's
because
mental.
we saw
Wilson,
Liverpool we saw Southampton with Liverpool's feeder club and thought, oh, we'll have a bit of that, you know.
Yeah.
we didn't sign many because Wilson, you would say, yeah, that's not a Cole
Oh,
McCauley.
that's Sullivan all
That's Sullivan,
day
right?
long.
Igor, I don't think that was one. That was a quick last minute, desperate, just get someone in.
Yeah.
Who else did we even sign? Like, it's not like we was getting. They was giving a load of money. We weren't giving a load of money to go and get players in. So you can't sit there and say, "Well, this is all the recruitment."
I can almost guarantee I'd put my house on the fact that Cole McCauley had a plan coming into this window. I reckon he had a full list of players that he wanted to approach. And I did sort of, well, it's not hard to predict. We've seen Sullivan work before. But I reckon what Sullivan did was he tried to sign all of Cole McCauley's picks and he was going out there for ages. Do you not remember the article on Claret and Hugh where when Sullivan took full control and he was going to save the day, it was because McCauley's targets were unrealistic.
Yeah,
so I think he had tried and failed to sign all of McCauley's targets.
Because he's not Tim Spicer.
No.
He can't get shit over the line. He's a clown.
But apparently, it weren't even McCauley that was going out and negotiating the deals. Apparently, it was Brady and Sullivan. So McCauley was identifying the players and saying, "Go and get me that player," and it was Sullivan and Brady saying they're unrealistic. We can't get them.
See, part of me thinks with Fernandez that was probably a Potter McCauley signing because they tried the old hat of, we tried, we offered, they wanted 50 million, we offered 30 million. Do you know what I mean? And they tried that old yarn, and then the fan base started to get a bit frustrated, and they got that one over the line. I think that one was more
Possibly
of a Potter signing.
Yeah.
But
he's gone straight in as well, which is indicative. That makes you think maybe he's gone straight in.
And
I'm with you with the rest. I think it was just that they tried to, they done the old, we tried.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he wants to get into Sullivan territory, that part of the window where he can save the day with his super agent friends. Yeah. That's what he wants. You know.
Yeah. Grealish. You look at how he's doing at fucking Everton, right? And we were linked with him, and we pissed that away. We wanted Thingy who went to as well. We went from Liverpool. We went to Villa. Like we bottled that.
I'll be honest, mate. I think the Grealish would have been perfect fit for what we've got now. Really,
well, he's exactly what we want to watch for as a fan base. You know, he really is. I just feel like we just need a little bit more. I mean, I'm glad we got Fernandez now because Fernandez looks like a decent player. However, he looks half the player with Paqueta playing up front the other day and him just sitting there alongside James Ward-Prowse and Souček. He looked bang average. But you have them two when against Forest, when you had Paqueta that probably had the best game that he's probably had for us in that game in the middle of the park. Fernandez was absolutely unbelievable. So what does Potter do in the next game? He puts Paqueta up front so that he can maintain the fearsome duo of James. It really pisses me off. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Honestly, but it's such a piss take because think about it, right? We've just gone out, and this is on Potter. We've just gone out and spent 60 million on central midfielders in Fernandez and Magassa, yet they're still in that team. How? Yep. How is it possible?
Yep.
How is it possible?
And you're still bringing on Andy Irving. You know?
I know.
There's no reason to, with our shit our midfield has been, to not just chuck in Magassa and say, fuck it. Like, we're going to put him straight in. Like, that's exactly what we should have done. And if you don't stick him straight in against Palace, mate, and we play Ward-Prowse, and if I see Rodriguez on the bench, mate, sack him before the start of the first whistle. That's what I'm saying.
Imagine if he replaces Souček in that same team.
Yeah, could you imagine? Because he had been playing him. He had been playing him
know.
and starting him, and you see if we see Paqueta at false 9, there's no reason for us to see. We've got strikers at this club. There's no reason to see any false 9s. There's no reason to see Bowen up top. Any of that, get him gone straight away.
Do you know if we'd have had a forward on the pitch in that first part of the Tottenham game, I mean, Diouf was whipping in some mean crosses, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. We had the spell, and the thing is, all them chances we had in and around the box was getting in. If we had a striker, he converts some of them chances. But we didn't.
The thing is, I think with that game, I think he was just relying on getting to sort of the 60-minute mark at 0-0 and bringing on Callum Wilson and trying to have a go. I think that's all he was. That's all he was hoping on. We're in the game up to the 60th minute. We can get half hour out of Wilson. We're going to get him on for that last half hour, and we'll get a bit of difference that we saw against Forest. But a lot of that was the Somerville substitution.
Yeah.
I think that's where it went wrong.
I think it was.
Somerville was still doing what he was doing, but he had no one then. Diouf was getting down, whipping in across. There's no one in there.
That's what I'm saying. You look at the Forest game, like Somerville, he didn't just win the penalty, but he was creating opportunities for Wilson Bowen. Like he was terrorizing the defense. They was all running to him. He was
created space for Diouf as well, because with him on the pitch, you had Diouf had space all of a sudden to get down the left and use that left foot.
And if we had a striker against Spurs, you would have saw the similar. Because there's someone else to think about. They knew, you know what style, you know what game Paquetá is going to play. You know he's going to try and look to get the ball. He wants the ball. He ain't going to play that striker role. It was ridiculous putting him in that position.
No, it was stupid. But look, the only advantage is now, look, and like I said, I would rather it be Souček of the two, not be that isn't going to be playing, but at least Jedwood have broken up for the next 3 games. So we've only got one of them, which is good.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good though. I mean, he's been horrific. Ward-Prowse. I mean, like Nick, how are you feeling about? Do you feel like because we've seen this so many times where a manager's job's on the line at West Ham, he's got to win this or he gets sacked, or he has to not lose whatever he pulls something out. Do you foresee us doing a madness what we don't expect? We didn't expect against Forest. Do you expect us to do it against Palace?
Do you know? I've got a sneaky feeling that we are going to. We've seen it. How many last chance saloon games have we had? Or El Sakikos, and we always come out on top. And do you know what? A lot of it's down to as well. It's down to the fucking players. I mean, the players themselves. We've seen it where they've been shit for weeks, and then they'll come out in a game like that and they'll play like their life depends on it to sustain our misery. Now, look, we all want to win, but if you go back to a few years ago when we played Aston Villa, I know us beating them didn't directly lead to Gerrard losing his job and them getting Emery. I think it was a Fulham game next. But it is, you said, look at these sliding doors moments. When you're in this situation, I think we've seen it now. You almost need a quick death just so we can go again. It is a good scenario. If he wins tomorrow, great, we'll enjoy it. But you know how the rest of the season's going to go. You do. We've seen it. Yeah. There's going to be no surprises. It's going to be win 1, draw 1, lose 1, lose 1. Oh, we're in shit. Win 1, and boring the whole time as well, because it's a very This is. I don't know how you feel about this, because this is defensive football as well, but it's possession based. I find this, and I really didn't like David Moyes' ball, obviously, but I find this worse.
Same.
I think this is painful.
The slow build up.
At least you had moments. You had moments in games, didn't you? With Moyes, you had moments in games.
But this did start under Moyes towards the tail end of his, especially in that last season. We saw that sideways, backwards, slow build up, and then Lopetegui carried it on, and now Potter's carried it on, and it's worse, than the just standard counter.
The thing that's frustrated me is under all of them 3 managers, when you've actually seen us move the ball very quickly. 1-2 touch passing, not going, even when going backwards, but moving the ball across the pitch very, very quickly. We've looked a good side.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me nuts. Even when we were playing under Moyes with a low block, and that when we move the ball, you see little intricate triangles between Paquetá and Emerson at the time, knocking it about, putting the ball through. It was exciting to see. And you sit there and think, where's that been? Do you know what I mean? When you go all the way back for the Leverkusen game, that first half, where was that whole season? That high press, that intensity. All right, it burnt out after 60 minutes. But We never saw that again.
I think it's all down to systems in football, though. I mean, because he's a modern manager. I don't like his style of football, but it's it's very system based. So it's got nothing to do with kind of individual brilliance and flair and kind of relying on players to express themselves, going out there, playing their game. It's all about the system, the system. And I think that's what suffocates a lot of these players.
Yeah.
There's no way with the players that we've got in this team. Someone said it in the chat there. We create on average 2 chances a game. That's not fucking right, is it? Not with the players that we've got.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We always play to what the manager wants. We never try and play to the individual players that we've got. You look at the likes of Paquetá, you can tell Paquetá's 2 passes in front of every other player on that pitch. Fulkrug to his detriment. I like Fulkrug because he's got that intelligence. We don't suit his style. I reverted back to Heller and Skamaka before.
He's not a shit player.
No, he's a good player.
Yeah.
But the manager that we've got and the manager that we had, they don't play to the strengths of that player. He wants bodies around him. He wants that little 1-2 touch football. You see his movement. You see that he knows where players are going to be. Same with Paquetá. Paquetá is so forward thinking, but Paquetá then looks shit because he's forward thinking, because he'll play that pass that he sees, but then the player running onto it doesn't see.
Absolutely, mate.
That's the biggest issue that I feel that we've got. If we can find the right fit of manager that's going to take a Paquetá and go, right, you are my main man. We're going to play off you. We're going to give you the ball. We want you to do this. We look at playing them passes. Right, Bowen, these are the runs I want you to make. Somerville, these are the runs. Fulkrug, I want you to do. And Wilson, when you come on, I want you to do this and this. If you find a player that's going to take that, make that one player the heartbeat of the side, but then have that little tenacity of, right, when teams work out that he's the heartbeat, what we're going to do, they're going to put 2 players on him. Someone's going to be free.
Of course. Yeah.
So have that intelligence. We just don't seem to have intelligent managers that can manage the game, that can go, hang on a minute, we get a lot of joy down that side. No, they stop playing the ball out there, put the ball out there. Then they're going to counteract that, so then we're going to put the ball out there. We don't have that intelligent manager. We haven't had that intelligent. This is how we play. Plan A. Oh, shit, it ain't working. Well, what we'll do is we'll take him out of plan A, and he's plan A. He plays the same way, plan A again.
Well, look what happened in the Nottingham Forest game, as we've all alluded. So it was the Jimmy, it was a Somerville signing, Somerville substitution that kind of woke that game up massively. Well, apparently, according to Somerville, he sort of said what Potter said to him when he went on the pitch. He just said, just go out there and attack and play. That was it. So that was, and look what happens. You're basically telling the player to go out there and express himself and go and cause mayhem. That's what we like to see. And mate, they couldn't contain it.
Exactly. That's it. But this is also stems from when you then have to start Somerville, and you're a bit, you've got to be a little more structured in the start of the game. You can't be that. But when you start Somerville, you've got to say, right, first 20 minutes, you've got to be a little bit like, but then go and express yourself. But having then a player on the bench that can go on and do exactly the same thing, can go on and express himself. We didn't have. We had whoever was playing out on the left at the time. We bring someone so he can express himself. He can add that injection. You look at a bench, you've not got that.
There's no depth.
No. And that's the thing. You look at Wilson. When he's going to come on in that last half hour. The movement that Wilson's got. He's got that. He's a smart centre forward. He knows the runs to make. He makes them centre forward runs. But if you start Wilson, you've then got no one else to come on to do that. So it's great if you're winning. But if you're in a losing position, if you ain't going to change the whole structure and the whole setup of how you're playing, you can't then take a Wilson on and bring a Fulkrug on.
No, because you can't. I do think that the way that we've been using Wilson is probably the best way to use him for that last half hour, because it clearly, I don't think he's ever going to have the legs to play 90 minutes. There must be something wrong with him, fucking things that he's got under his hips, because he wouldn't have signed the contract that he signed otherwise. So there's got to be a problem there. So we've obviously got to look after him. And if using him for the last 30 minutes, it seems very effective. I'm sort of happy with that. But
if the alternative though is playing Paqueta false 9, I'd rather start him for at least the first half and let him start.
The
game rather than start Paqueta false 9, and then you can bring or just start Marshall. Like
Marshall, yeah.
at least he's going to be a striker. He's someone up front who knows how to make the runs that a striker makes.
But the thing is, as well, though, Dan, he's going to work his nuts off for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what sometimes missing. A player that's going to cause defenders problems by shutting them down and by tracking. You know, you just need that sometimes. And having a false nine doesn't work. It works in the odd one-off game.
How many look how many teams are getting a proper Man City, proper striker, Arsenal, proper striker, Liverpool, proper striker, Chelsea. You know they're going to got Delap and Pedro, João Pedro in. Like all the top teams now, everyone's moving back towards a proper striker up front, and now we're going back to false nine bollocks. Like,
and guess what else is about? Guess what else is about to expire as well? The ball playing goalkeeper. Because guess what Pep's done? He's gone to Donnarumma. He ain't a fucking ball playing goalkeeper. He's a shot stopper.
And look at him. Look how much he fucking helps them out and got them. Make sure they got the win.
What annoys me, right, is that
he's brilliant.
Everyone tries to copy the top managers, right? Wenger come in and change the dynamic of the Premier League. Everyone's starting to copy Wenger. Pep's come in, change the dynamic of it. Everyone's trying to copy Pep. I want to see a manager that's going to go, fuck playing all this one up front bollocks. I'm going to play 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just something different.
Yeah, all these managers following trends, like following
exactly.
trends.
Just be an individual.
Try setting a trend rather than following.
Yeah.
You know,
you know, you go and watch League One and League Two football. They're trying to play out the back.
Yeah,
they can't play football out the back from the back. You know, do you know what I mean? It's just
ball playing goalkeepers. The biggest load of bollocks nonsense I've seen.
A goalkeeper's job is to stop the ball going in the back of the net.
Exactly. That should be the priority. And we have a very good shot stopper who's been sitting on the bench for someone who's a shit shot stopper. Like people said, Areola can't command his box. This guy definitely can't.
This goalkeeper's so bad.
He's good with his feet. That's it.
But he ain't a number 10. He's a goalkeeper.
Exactly. That's the point. We've got him in because he's good with his feet and he's a fucking goalkeeper.
The thing is, I feel sorry for him because he would have been better off staying at Leicester and hardened himself playing in the Championship again than coming straight back into the Premier League. You know, and you see it now. I think his confidence is shot. You know, I think the Forest game was a bit of a boost. He kept clean sheet, but he did absolutely nothing in that game.
No,
Forest were awful. You know, every shot.
Well, we now know why. I mean, Nuno was obviously he was going to be going after that game anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
exactly. The only thing Hermansen done really in the Spurs game was that double save from Kudus.
Thank God he did.
Yeah,
that was nice. Yeah.
You know, but that reverts back to what he's in goal for. Stop the ball going back in the net. You know,
shots go out in, he flaps at everything. Honestly, I don't know what that signing was.
But a bit of all cottoned onto it. Did you see every corner they was putting basically on top of him?
Yeah.
Also, you've got to look at the coaching setup, zonal marking.
Oh no, that goal they scored.
Yeah.
From the first corner, you can see your system isn't working. You've got to go man for man.
Yeah,
you're right. The zonal marking, Scott, is a problem, but that's not the problem of why this keeper was flapping at corners.
No, of course not. It's not the problem. But
he shouldn't be in goal, Scott.
Dan, not being funny, right? If you're an attacking team and you know this keeper flaps at crosses and you put players on him, as a defensive team, you know your keeper flaps at crosses. You make sure you protect your goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's what the players should do.
We didn't do that.
The players should do that. The manager shouldn't play him at all.
I think he's a goalkeeper for a progressive team. You know, like the team where the ball's 90% up the other end of the pitch and he can come rushing out and he can be that sweeper keeper. I think it'd be really good in that sort of situation. He probably would be good, you know, because he's like an outfield player, but not for us. What we're doing, you know, we were shit anyway, and we've added a problem. Yeah, that's what we've done.
Yeah. David brings up a point. I've been seeing this. They're saying he's got stomach issues. Obviously, he was dropped just unceremoniously. Obviously, he had that bad game against Chelsea in terms of marking corners, but it seems hard to drop a right back because of their marking corners, right? And we haven't seen him since. And now they're saying stomach issues. It seems fishy to me. Like Potter's fallen out with a few players, it seems. The way him and Emerson, the way Emerson was treated, Alvarez was pushed out.
Unless Emerson was causing problems, like That's disgusting.
He was a very key player in us winning that Conference League.
And again, it goes back to what Troy Deeney said. Winners. You've got a winner in Emerson.
Yeah.
You've got someone who's got a winning mentality. You need players like that.
Yeah.
But I do think there's probably something to be said when you go out and you get these, because I don't know, he doesn't strike me as a very strong character, and I think he's very egotistical. I think most managers would be, but he's not a strong character. I reckon he might struggle with players that have got maybe a better CV as a player than he's got as a manager. Do you know what I mean? I think I think he likes to have lesser players.
Do you think there's an issue? Do you think he's genuinely there's something wrong with his health? Wan-Bissaka's why he's not playing, or do you think?
No, I think Wan-Bissaka's pissed off.
Yeah,
that he's been
he
dropped.
was our player of the season last season. Remember that he was.
Look what he's done.
Player of the season, but he hasn't been that player this season.
But he hasn't been terrible though.
But last year, our two standout players were Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. So what he's done is he's devised a game plan this year that we've gone into with this wing back system. Basically, made both of those players shit because it didn't suit Wan-Bissaka and it ain't suited Bowen. So you've taken our two best players from last year and created a system that made them. He's like, I'll fix that. I'm going to make them shit and all.
Exactly. He went to the back four with Carl Walker-Peters.
Yeah,
I know. This is it. So it's very harsh on Wan-Bissaka after 2 games to go, all right, well, he didn't pick up his man. He lost his man on the corners, so we're just going to drop him. That's poor.
Where's Tadibo gone? Tadibo's just vanished as well, wasn't he?
Tadibo's vanished, yeah. And listen, Ward-Prowse, Mavropanos deserves these.
I like him. I like Mavro. I do.
Kilman has to be droppable.
He's so shit.
Yeah,
we paid £40 million for him.
It makes me sick.
I have to keep saying it, and he's got a 7-year contract as well.
And people wanted him to be our captain from day one. Like,
God, dig me out a bit more.
Yes, I remember that. Oh yeah, no, he's because he was, you know what, he was the captain at Wolves. Because he's the captain at Wolves, he should be the captain at West Ham.
Thing is, he's 6'5". He's a big lump, but don't he come across to you like he's a little bit timid and a little bit like, you know, I don't know.
I sometimes think we've been too used to defenders a bit like Ginge and Dawson that put their bodies on the line, and we haven't got that type of defender.
Mate, what would you give for like just any of the defenders that we've had recently? A Ginge, Bonner, a Zuma, just a Dawson, just any of them, you know.
That's what I don't get the Igor signing, because he's another player who's shit in the air. You know what I mean? Who's decent on the ball. Like another one of those. Why have we signed another one of those?
Don't know.
The thing is, I'm with that style of play. When you want to play at the black, you still need to have an old-fashioned type centre half playing along. You can have your ball playing centre half. You still need that old-fashioned type of put your body on the line, chuck your head in there, put your boot in there type defender who's just going to get the ball and hoof it out.
Yeah,
you still need that, even when you
absolutely do. You need a bit of steel. You need a bit of steel in there.
Yeah, and that's
I think Panos is the closest thing to that, but he's not quite that. But he's the closest thing we got to that.
He's our best. He's our best conventional defender. He's the closest we've got to it, I think. You know, but here's a question: after the 4 at the back didn't work against Spurs, do you think he'll go back to a back 5? Because you just said about Igor, he's a left-sided sort of centre back, ball playing centre back. Do you think he could reintroduce the back 3 against Palace?
Mate, if he does, sack him before full time again.
I think it would be a big push to do that, like to go back to that. Especially the fact that you potentially got Fulkrug back to fitness. Callum Wilson's had another week of training.
Yeah,
to go back to that back 5 will be suicide, I think.
Yeah,
I don't discount Palace, but I don't think Palace are that good for us to revert to a back 5.
Mate, we've been better defensively with the back 4. Like we've looked much better as even massively. Like you look. Yeah, we conceded 3 to Spurs, granted, right? But obviously the set piece opened us up, right? And then they had another ball over the top. But before that, we limited Spurs with their chances quite a bit in the first half. So it don't make sense from a defensive point of view. So he'd be mad, absolutely mad to go to that. And I would just be like straight away Potter out. Drano says there's a rumor Wan-Bissaka got malaria on international duty. Maybe, but but before international duty, he'd been out the side. So yeah, maybe there's something to that. We don't know, but look,
I think Potter's got form for this, though, isn't he? He has.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think that those games that that he was part of, which was when he went to that back five, I do think that Potter was probably he's a type of person that will blame a player. Now I know Wan-Bissaka was at fault for quite a few of those goals, he was, wasn't he? But I do think it'll be like, it's not my system. It's down to him. I'm going to replace him, replace a part. It's not the master plan.
Yeah, Mo makes and this is the problem with West Ham, right? We do this all the time when he's got this game to save his job. If he's got one game to save his job,
get rid.
Him. Yeah,
they've made their mind up.
Yeah, that's it. One game doesn't fucking change the whole dimension of the season. If he wins this game, right, unless we go and batter fucking Palace and we see complete total football, right, it's not really going to change anything, is it? So
if we do lose tomorrow and they don't sack him, I mean, I'll all that. Do you know all that will be? I'll be convinced at that point that they can't find anyone to replace him.
Yeah. This is it, and it's just a case of them constantly kicking the can down the road. That's what they do. Every manager kick the can down the road, and eventually, that's what they did with Lopetegui. They ended up doing it with Moyes to the point they kicked it far enough down the road they can let him go for nothing. They've done it time and time again, and to our detriment. So
the thing for me is that I think as a manager, why would you want to work with them?
You wouldn't.
Yeah,
you'd have to be desperate.
Yeah, this is the thing, Scott. Right? People, we always say no one's going to, but people do. Do you know why? Because of money. Like, this is a job, we're a big club.
This is it. This is the thing. Was Potter coming to his end where he weren't getting paid by Chelsea anymore? He was out.
He was. He had just finished. His contract had just finished.
Yeah. So and the thing is, Scott, right,
desperation measures for the managers.
Yeah, but the thing is, when we always say no one will want to work for these owners, no one will play for them, right? You guys talk to non-West Ham fans. I do a lot of these things on Sky or TalkSport, whatever, and you realise that no one really understands outside of the West Ham bubble how bad they are.
No,
right? They're just how just awful they are. They haven't got a clue at all. So why do we expect managers to know what we know about the owners and have our perspective and go, I'm not touching them with it? They see West Ham as a club. They go, right, big club. We've got a stadium, whatever. I can fix them. I back myself. If I can get them up there, that's going to raise my profile, and they see us as an opportunity. Potter see us as a great opportunity, right? Whoever the Nuno sees us as a great opportunity. Whoever the next manager is going to see.
It's. I do think it's a desperation job. It's somewhere where you'll roll the dice to try and rebuild your career, which is why we always get a certain profile of manager. Put it this way: if we was ever out there competing for a manager with another club, we ain't winning.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not winning.
And the thing is, mate, when you look at that, it's exactly what David Moyes did, didn't he? He saw us as an opportunity for him to rebuild his career. His career was going nowhere. He weren't employable by anyone else.
No.
They wanted to take a punt on him, and he come in, and we got the best out of it.
Absolutely.
It was a deal that suited us at the time, and it suited Moyes. And as soon as it didn't, thanks Moyes, the Everton job comes available. It suits Moyes because they want that stability going into this new stadium.
So, what's your that being said, what's your score predictions for tomorrow? I'm interested to see where your heads are at.
Go on, Scott. You go first.
Do you know what? I don't think we're going to win. I think it's going to be a very boring 1-1 draw.
Oh, that'd be the worst result.
Yeah. Draw is the worst result. Win or lose.
Be the worst result. I've got no reason to think we're going to win because Palace haven't lost for 16 games. They're a better team than us, in terms of a team. Far better team. They've got a better manager. They're better functioning. They should beat us. I just think we're going to win.
Yeah, it's the West Ham thing to do.
I think we're going to win tomorrow 2-0.
It would be the West Ham thing to do. I've already said 2-2. Although I can see a Palace win. The big thing is, right, they're one of the highest teams for goals from set pieces, right?
Yeah,
and we are one of the worst teams from conceding from set pieces. That's a
will he drop Hermansen?
Listen, if he's that's the question. If he's got any bollocks about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if I don't see Fabianski between the sticks, sadly.
I'll take it.
Mate, but to do that, right? If
it's insulting to Areola, isn't it?
Yeah, what does that say to Areola? You're basically saying we're paying this guy $100,000 a week. So you're saying to $100,000 a week, this geezer that we let go and we've brought back in on cheap money, right? Is you're now the third choice keeper behind him. This guy's 40 years old. Like this keeper Areola, who he had his shaky moment in preseason. He does have a shaky moment, but this guy fucking performed heroics for us last season in big games, right? And got us points. To do that, mate, would just be an absolute slap in the face, and he'd lose Areola, and that would cause more disharmony in the dressing room. Fabianski's already said, listen, I'm here to be part of the dressing room, to lend my experience and my personality to that. He's not clamoring and itching like, you better get me on. But for him to do that
the thing is, I trust Fabianski more than I trust the other two at the moment. Areola played against Wolves, didn't cover himself in any glory there, did he? So
the thing is, Scott, that's like
it's kicking him in the nuts. I know that, but at the end of the day,
but what you're saying about Fabianski, right? People that grew up in a single parent home will understand, right? Because when you're with your mum, right, your dad's the hero. Oh, dad wouldn't do this, dad wouldn't do that. When you're with your dad, it's the other way around. Like that's what it. So because Fabianski, we haven't seen him in his back. He's the fucking good guy, right? The other two, they're the reason. They're the reason we're shit. If we get Fabianski in, our prayers are solved, right? There's still Scott. He hasn't had a priest. I know goalkeepers, and it's not the same with the priest, but still, it's a big call in a big game to just throw. And he's got the experience on that. But let's not forget, Scott. Last season, he had shaky games as well. Let's not act like the games he played, he was a superstar.
But do you not feel like Potter's kind of is almost the architect of Areola's demise in this team, because he was forcing him to play out from the back when he isn't that type of keeper, and there was no reason to be expecting him to do that. You know, if he hasn't got the ability to do that, then you don't do that with a goalkeeper. You know,
look what happened that goal against Man United. We could see he tried to play out from the back, gave it straight to them. Boom.
He's acting under instruction. He's being told to play a certain way. You won't get that from Fabianski. He'll just fucking hoof it. He'll get rid of it, won't he?
Yeah, that's it, and that's what we need to be doing right now. But he's playing Hermansen because Hermansen can do that. And to be fair to him, his distribution is better than what I've seen from Fabianski or Areola. Distribution's decent, right? But I'm sorry, that's not good enough for a goalkeeper. I don't give a shit. Just fucking get it away from our goal, and if it comes back, save it.
Mate, he's had 15 shots to deal with, and he's let 11 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And that says everything about it.
That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah. If he starts him, he's just trying to save face because that was his. That's all.
And this is the thing. I think that he does need to drop him more to protect him than anything else. Not Potter, more to protect the goal.
100%. He's shot to pieces. I mean, do you know what? Apart from anything else, it all goes back to when he brought him in. He'd only been here a fucking few days. You know, he dumped Areola, he threw him straight in. He should have bedded that goalkeeper in gently, you know, for him to come in and have that debut like he did. You know, that didn't do anyone any favours. The management was, when you consider he's supposed to be a man manager, some of his decision making shit.
Yeah.
See, if that there is true. 31 games, 69 goals conceded. That's over 2 a game.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
Yeah,
right. And listen, we got Fabianski from Swansea. He faced a lot of shots, and he had a high save percentage, but he obviously let in a lot because he was playing for Swansea, who got relegated. But he came to us and was really good. That's not always going to be the case, and that's what I'm saying. When you sign a keeper just because of their ability on the feet, you're asking for trouble there. And that is a madness. If we see him, it's game over. But before the game, just quickly touch on that. There's something very important happening, and that is the protest that is being put on tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. And Nick, you're going to be there?
I'll be there. Yeah.
Scott may be there. potentially.
If I can get away from work early enough, I'll be
If
there.
he can get away from work, he'll be there. Nicky will be there. Listen, Jason's going to be there. We'll be there. And it's so important we get as many people down. Even if you are skeptical about the protest working, even whatever you feel, it's time for us to be united as a fan base. It's time to us to show that we're a serious club. Because we go there, right, and get a few numbers. Even if you didn't go, it looks bad on all of us, right? We have to turn up. This is the time. He's rattled. He's on the back foot, and we'll go and we'll get there.
We've got to play our part.
We have to. It's the time. You cannot if you're not willing. And listen, there's some people that can't get there, and I get it if you can't get there. But if you can get there and you just simply choose not to, and you don't want to, right? You can't moan. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, Sullivan this and Sullivan that." This is your chance. This is everyone's opportunity to get together and show what we're about. So I'll get the info up. It's going to be at the director's box eventually.
Entrance B. It is entrance B.
That's where it's going to end up. But I think they're starting at Marshgate Lane.
Yeah,
I think it's Marshgate Lane. There's another one. Nick Tucker's one is going to start at the bus station 12:30, and then they're going to converge into one. So they're going to do their sort of a walk to the director's box entrance. So you get like a good few thousand there, and it is going to finish at 2:15 to give fans because there's people that are coming down that ain't even got a ticket. They're going to obviously.
That's me.
Yeah, exactly. So some people are going to stay. I've got to get back for the watch along. We'll finish at 2:15. So please, if you can, show up. It's going to be honestly something that we want to get.
It's a rare opportunity to be standing there with thousands and thousands of nothing but true West Ham fans, which is not something you get very often, especially in that stadium.
Last time we got it was at the parade, and before that it was the last game of the bowling.
Yeah.
Look, and as Rich says, £5. Thank you very much, Rich. Said earlier I couldn't attend, but please, as many as you can be there. My son is marching for me. Brilliant. And that's what it's about. It's about numbers. It's going to be peaceful, no ag. Everyone's just there to show numbers and to
just bring your missus, bring your kids, fucking bring your neighbours. If you're driving down the road and you just see someone looking a bit lost, pick them up, take them with you. We just need numbers.
Yeah, because that's it. They see that, and it's going to get media attention. They're going to go, wow, they're serious. And Newcastle fans, they protested. They eventually got Ashley out.
Yeah.
Yes, I will be. Don't worry, I will be running home. I'll be jumping quickly. Going to. Thankfully, it's by Pudding Mill Lane Station, so I can get on there, and I'll get that to Bow Road and then District Line. So it shouldn't take me too long to get home from there.
Most importantly, it's something that Paul's been banging on about. Behave yourselves as well. We don't want any trouble when we're there because what Sullivan would love that the media would pick up on it and it would discredit it. So behave yourselves.
If you want to get on the drink as well,
don't be surprised if they didn't try and plant people within the crowd to try.
It will happen. It will happen.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like you got to self-police. Really don't fucking rise to it. If someone's there and there's police there and he's getting the police face, he's not one of us, right? If he's causing trouble, don't stick up for some twat who's fucking going off and getting Larry. Fuck him off. Like, he's not one of us because it's all about being peaceful. And if it does go south, then it makes us look bad and it overshadows the message. And all it gets talked about is West Ham.
This is the thing. There's no reason for it to go south. The protest is against the board. It's not against the police or anything like that. It's against the board. So we've got no need to get violent or anything like that. It is just, Do you not feel though, guys, like with this, it doesn't feel like it's a toxic, angry. We're angry with the situation, but this feels like it. I don't know. This feels positive.
We had Paul on, and he said
it feels weird. It feels strange. Yeah.
Everyone that they've done they haven't had the trouble, and I do feel like because I feel positive. I'm not going in there, and I feel happy. Like we're gonna get together, like West Ham fans together. Like I know it's for the cause, but I'm like, this is going to feel good. Like you said, proper West Ham fans all together with the same vision, united. Like it is a positive thing, and that we can do this. So there is no reason for it. But like Scott said, that, you know what I mean, like some agitators in there, Masters, West Ham fans, trying to, you know what I mean, make things go that way, and we've just got to hold firm. And like I said, if you want to get on the piss, wait till after, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Have 1 or 2 pints, but it won't help if someone's fucking on the Jaegers or fucking down in pints beforehand, and it's not going to go well.
Don't go jumping on Sullivan's bonnet when he's driving in and taking a shit or anything like that. Don't do anything like that.
As much as I would love to see that, don't do it. Oh my god. Well, listen, Nick, it was hard work, but we got you on. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah. No, my pleasure, mate.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you on. And like I said, well, Ryan sent me your number now anyway, so he finally saw the message.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
So it'll be easier next time.
Good.
But yeah, it was a long one today. Obviously, look, we eventually got Nick on, and it was a great chat. Like I said, we should on earlier, but so much to talk about. Hopefully, I'll bump into you tomorrow, mate.
More than likely, mate. More than likely. We've got a long day, so we need to get our heads down now.
Yeah. We'll get our heads down, rest, recover. Because Jace is coming here. We're doing the weigh-in, right? Don't forget, for the members, we're doing the weight loss challenge, right? So we're going to do the weigh-in. Going to head to the protest. Going to come straight back here. Film the match. You've
been drinking beer on screen. You're on a diet.
I know, but it's Friday night pint. And this is my last one. This is my last one. I'm going to be on here. Yeah. If I check out tomorrow if that affects me. But yeah, we'll do the watch along. And then obviously we've got the fan cams. Then on Sky have asked me back on. Surprisingly, I won't say crap. I'm going to say fucking shit, but no, I won't. And then these are coming back. And we're doing post-match pint. So it is going to be a very, very busy day. So do stay tuned to us. Obviously, Nick is going to have his content. So do, if you haven't already, check out Claret and Booze. You know what I mean? Great channel. And you got stuff going on tomorrow as well, Nick.
I'll just be doing a post-match. That's about it. I won't be doing much else. I am supposed to be going to a pub somewhere in East London that's showing the game. So yeah, because
we can't name the pub. Just
can't name the pub. Of course, we can't name the pub. No, but yeah.
So yeah, do check out Claret and Booze for that, because I'm sure the post match will be priceless. And yeah, like I said, next time you see Scott's face will be on post match pint, I reckon. He'll be holding the camera for the fan cams. And do once again check out OK Jerseys. Get your shirts. Get your shirts from there. 15 quid, mate. Code Nicky, get it cheaper than 15 quid. The arrogant bastard he is having his name as the code. So yeah, do go and check out their West Ham shirts, England shirts, fucking Barcelona retro shirts, whatever you like, right? Obviously they ain't got fucking Grimsby shirts or Port Vale, but you know, all the top shirts. So go check it out. But yeah, so listen, once again, Nick, thanks for coming on. Scott, always a pleasure, mate.
Yes, mate.
And yes, we will see you tomorrow for all the madness. We'll be probably trying to do a stream from the protest as well. So if you can't make it, you can feel like you're there in spirit. So look out for that. Make sure you've got the notification bell clicked. So thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.